I oddly feel like I'm forgetting something here. Maybe it's because we're early. I don't know. I seriously doubt anyone's even listening to me right now. Ooh, I'm speaking into nothingness. We're very early. Anyway, hello everybody. We're going to be streaming today. I've been trying to do these little hellos before the start of the pre-stream to encourage people to sit about. Oh, we do have someone. Hello, aka Fastback. How's it going? So yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd say hi. Go get your coffee, guys. Go do your stuff. I've got a lot of different ideas for things I want to do on today's stream. I'm not sure what we'll hone in on. You can see from the title, I've got Flameseeker Prophecies. I've got a few things. I have something to unnecessarily whinge about as well, which I'm gonna really try and stop doing lately. But anyway, we'll talk about that all very soon. It should be fun. I'm gonna trigger the pre-show. It won't be too long on the pre-show today, so go get your fizzy drink, go get your coffee, go get your hard liquor, if that's what it takes to stomach a WP stream. And yeah, we'll be having some fun. So see you guys very, very soon. Hi guys, it's Wooden Potatoes here, and today we're gonna be playing some Path of Fire. Okay, hello everybody. I don't know why I did that voice. How's it going, guys? Lots to talk about today. A lot on my mind. Lots whizzing around. And fun things going on. Yes, I did accidentally just play you some Coldplay, and I do apologize for that for people who caught that in the early thing. Hopefully the stream won't get muted for all of 2 seconds worth of audio. Wow, we had a resub immediately. SCX, dudes. Look at all these months. Hell yeah, dude. 17 of them. That's badass of you. So yeah, lots going on really, guys, since the last stream. Things have been really strong and steady, and I'm pretty good on my end. The schedule that I've written for myself, I'm working quite comfortably too. I've been getting the daily videos out. There's a lot happening. I've even found time to like make it to some streams that ArenaNet have been doing that I'd been missing a few of before. So I watched their stream to do with the Griffin. I don't know if people were there. It was pretty interesting. I got a lot of thoughts on the Griffin. I still need to hold back on them, though, because I don't actually have it yet. And I know for a fact no one will take any of my opinions as meaning anything until I've got it, which is totally fair. But I do find it funny, like, even in the AMA, Mike Z made a comment. They were like, we were very scared about invalidating old content. And Joel in the stream was talking about how when they designed the Griffin, they deliberately made it OP and overtuned the hell out of it, thinking that it wouldn't be accepted. And then it was. And it's like, okay, so you know it's broken. And they even said, yeah, it's broken, but you know what? We figure because you only get it at the end of the story, it's okay if it breaks stuff. But, you know, there's a complete disregard there. To me, there's a disregard there for potential areas and events and content and things that people might have missed on their first time through, and the fact that you can get a lot of value on a second character that you probably shouldn't have it at the same time. And also it disregards future content. Like, what do you guys think? Let's do an open house here. What do you guys think in terms of new maps? Are they going to disable the Griffin in new maps? Like, it's very strange, isn't it? Because they're openly saying it's broken, but it's okay because you've already played the content. And yet, when it comes to future content, that's not true anymore. So they know that they've just broken the flow of exploration, fundamentally changed what Guild Wars 2 is. And that's not an excuse they can sort of shield themselves behind after that. So I wonder how it feels how they're going to feel that out, sorry, is what I'm trying to say in future maps. But yeah. Just one of those little areas. I know that I'm going to butt heads quite a bit with the community on in the coming weeks. But again, who knows? Maybe I'm just thinking too deeply about it. Another thing was there was a Reddit thread right at the end of last night. I'm still in that place where I'm getting really frustrated by just like ignorant comments that are getting dropped online, and it's like, what? So someone was talking about the new infusion that comes from the casino meta. So I've talked openly in the past. The game needs more Chak Garant, Chak Exact style stuff and Vials of Aurelium. When the Vial of Aurelium was finally available, I applauded ArenaNet for that. I think those are excellent rewards for metas. One of the biggest criticisms for Path of Fire has been that there's not a good reason to redo the metas. Well, the fact that Choya thing infusion is on the Amnoon Oasis casino, that is brilliant. Those kinds of the game needs a healthy mix of easily acquirable loot, but also loot that's incredibly weird and crazy and is like, you know, no one can really feasibly to ever get it, but you get this sense of winning the lottery. And I think that though having a mix of various forms of loot is incredibly important for the game, and it's great that one of the Path of Fire metas at least has it. And there was this guy that posted a comment on Reddit saying basically he doesn't like it because he can't get it. He wants it and he can't get it, so he's sour. And you know, there's lots of upvotes. I feel like around an expansion, a lot of people kind of feel this way. There's very, very gimme mentality that starts coming around. But they ended the comment by saying, I can't believe ArenaNet always put the best loot on tiny RNG chances like this. It's like that's such a ridiculous statement. Guild Wars 2 is not like that. They don't always put the best loot. Like, it's so short-sighted to ever say that. It's like a ridiculous statement. Like, in a weird way, like legendaries are clearly the best loot, right? They have the most work that's put into them. They have all these different components like footfalls and unsheath effects and hand effects, and you know, the weapons and skins themselves always have a certain amount of prominence and craftsmanship and detail on them. Legendaries are the best loot, and it's not just weapons, but there's legendary backpacks. There's even like the legendary trinket Aurora, right? And clearly those don't cost anywhere near as much as what this aura does, and that's where you find the best stuff, and that's always been a lot more accessible. I think people lose sight as well of the fact that, you know, we are talking about purely cosmetic stuff. And the main thing, the argument that I made on Reddit was I said, you know, what you don't realize is this aura is not the best loot because of its effect. You know, it's pretty incomparable, really. It's only good because it's rare. That's why people want it. Now, I do not deny that some people just really like that specific party effect and they want that specific thing, like that they're... But generally speaking, why is the Chuck, the egg sack so sought after? Why is the egg sack the best loot in the game? It's not because it's some amazing thing that looks better than all the legendaries combined. It's not about the actual effect. It's about its scarcity. It's because it's rare. And so to say, like, the comment that it's just the, oh, ArenaNet only make the best, always put the best loot on the 0.1%. It's like absurd. It's like so blind to not realize it is good loot because it's rare. And so anyway, I made this point and some people sort of lashed against me, but it was mostly just ad hominem. It was like, it was attacks on me. Oh, WP just doesn't have any perspective because he's rich. Which, despite the fact is an ad hominem and doesn't matter, right? Like, anyone else could have made the comment and now you can't hide. But, you know, even to devolve to that discussion, since when have I been, like, ridiculously rich? I make no claims that I'm not, like, in the upper end of the community, obviously. But, like, they were given examples like, oh, he can just afford to give every legendary away. It's like, these people clearly have no idea what they're talking about. Like, I can't afford to give every legendary away. You think that's my money? You think I earned that? Or saying stuff like, oh, he gets all these personal donations. I don't accept personal donations and never have. So, like, to say that my opinion on that is invalid just because I can afford to give away it's just insane. It's just ludicrous. And the other, well, there was another weird attack on me as well. Oh, yeah, that, my comment that it was ludicrous to say that is, oh, it doesn't matter. There's no merit to it. It's just because it's WP saying it, and everyone would always upvote WP on Reddit. So I can't win, apparently, guys. I can't make a reasoned, informed opinion because I'm wood and potatoes, and because no matter what I say, I always get upvoted, so it's impossible for me to be right. So I'm not really too worried that people sneered at my opinion there, but it's like, it's just so ludicrous, you know? Anyway, I like that. All of this is to say, I like the Chuck egg sack. Not the Chuck egg sack. I don't even know what it's called. What is it called? The new infusion. Can someone in chat tell me? For the casino. And do we know if there's more in some of the other metas? We're actually going to be doing a meta today, which will be quite fun. But that one especially, it seems interesting. People think the potato is the Spud Club. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's anyway. Like, I know. I actually haven't made a legendary. I mean, I guess I made Aurora. That's a legendary, right? I haven't made a weapon for ages. I haven't made either Bolt. I was really interested in Bolt when Heart of Thorns was coming out. The time I was genuinely rich and played a lot. Because I played, and I was rich because I played a lot. When that was last genuinely true was a long time ago. Like when I used to dungeon run a lot, a long time ago. In terms of my actual playtime now, I'm a wealthy player, but I just look a lot more wealthy than I am just because, you know, the guild funds run through my account and this giveaway, right? So like right now, my actual account is like, it's almost top 100 in terms of wealth in all of Guild Wars 2, but it's only because of all of this other stuff. And also gems as well. It's because of gems from the devs, and it's because of gems, getting like gem store stuff and stuff associated with that. Yeah, so there's another thing Benji said here, that they found some account-bound music box drop on each map. Now, that's pretty interesting, I think. That is pretty interesting. So they're super rare too. Wait, 99 Renegade, if you're asking, chat? What? Sorry, what is this? I've never made any legendary anything, and I hate it, says Scarecrows. I mean, there's a kind of a weird thing as well where, like, I mean, this is something that's going to become worse and worse for Guild Wars, I think. Maybe that's a bit loaded, me saying worse and worse, but more prominent. New players versus old players, and the kind of stuff that one group has versus the kind of stuff another group has. And, you know, I think to really understand both communities, I have to keep doing stuff like Zero to Hero. And I'm quite excited, actually. What do you guys think of this? Making a free-to-play Guild Wars 2 account of... I want to do, like, a league system. With the website, we might be able to do it. But poor Welk. There's too much I want to do. But I kind of want to play a Path of Fire only account on these streams as well. That might be a challenge series you see me doing. But I also want to look back at Merciless. I want to look at speedrunning now that mounts are a thing. How cool would that be? Sangcho Yoso says, exactly, WP. It's how I feel with legendaries, ascended gear, etc. Yeah, like, I think a lot of the new people might start to feel alienated. I don't know. What we need is an active content creator that's very new to the game. I don't know. That's what I feel. Because otherwise, you're going to get a lot of new people. People listening to me right now who are going to feel like, you know, I'm some... You know, they don't have that person to sort of attach to. They're going to feel like they're invalid in the game because they don't have a certain... They're not at a certain bar. And you're not invalid. You're genuinely not invalid just because you're not at a certain bar. Things that are cool are rare. Baby rage. I mean, my fundamental argument with the infusion thing, if you guys are still talking about it, is... I just think that there should be a mix of that kind of loot in Guild Wars 2. And Guild Wars 2 has, generally speaking, because it's always been so nice with its loot, and it's been... there's been a sense of abundance when it comes to Guild Wars 2 loot, is the way I describe it. Because it's always taken this kind of perspective, I believe that it's very good when stuff like that infusion comes into the game. And yeah, I believe our desire for it, a significant chunk of it, is because it's rare. And I don't think that I've lost touch with the common person by saying that. I did map completion over 3 play sessions with mounts. I don't know the hours, but it's quite fast now. But when I say speed runs, I'm not really interested in map complete speed runs. A dev on the live stream said that they were interested in those. I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in story speed runs, which I know puts me into a weird place where I will slander and go on and on and on about the core story, but also, you know, be excited about that. But I think that that's really where the meat is. I think that's interesting. And I'm talking about speed runs where you start at level 1. And you end at level 80 kind of thing. So, like, the speed run is full leveling and blah, blah, blah altogether. WP, have you had any problems with YouTube demonetizing your videos? Mostly stream videos, because apparently it can detect if I swear, and then it will, you know, randomly do things. But I don't really care too much, because I'm not... you know, I'll get, like, 20 to 30k a video on a good time. You know, people who properly make a career out of it, they're on 10 times that. We're talking 200k to 300k. And the really successful YouTubers are 500k plus. So they rely on their ad revenue more than me. They earn 10 times what I do, all right? 10 times. So to me, ad revenue is not the main thing I look at all. And it never really has been. The only reason I'm sitting here today is because of Patreon. That is the only reason I'm really sitting here today. And will continue to be in the future. And Patreon doesn't care about advertising, which is what's so wonderful and magical about it, and I'd really encourage you guys to go check out. So, by the way, this is not supposed to be a big plug, but people who are on Patreon and have the audio drive or have early access videos and stuff, since my new schedule and my work, this week at least, I've been really good with it. There's actually 3 early access videos up there right now, and I really am hoping to have turned over a new leaf here at the start of POF, and as a YouTuber, I'm having to be very professional about this and forever have that well updated. So if you ever have been signed up to that website, hopefully you can have some fun. I mentioned on yesterday's video that today's video was going to be something really weird that you'd never predict what it's going to be. Anyone who's on Patreon will know what that is right here, right now, because they can just go look. They can go watch it already. So anyway, that's been another fun thing that I've been good at this week. And yeah, I do encourage people to go check that website out. I'm trying a few different things to see if I can earn a bit more for myself, and I don't know. We'll see how things go. Reg says, hey WP, did you already read/talk about there not being a dedicated guild content team? Yeah, I did. It's coming up in an AMA video that I'm going to be posting immediately after this stream's done. Yeah, I've got an hour-long production for you all of reading dev comments and dev questions and answers, basically. It's nothing you couldn't get yourself on Reddit, but... you can be lazy and you can have me read to you the best stuff and I'll have commentary. And yeah, so there is no dedicated guild team. It doesn't sound like the devs are going for a dedicated guild team. I mean, personally, that upsets me. It does. Not majorly, but I think that there are so many people playing Path of Fire right now who are just going to disappear because they're not going to get into guilds. And I don't know. I think that guilds should have meaningful things to do. I think resonating slivers... Now, I have to be careful talking about this now because I have investments in resonating slivers. But even beyond those investments in resonating slivers, I believe that that currency or a different currency, like commendations or a new one entirely, should, like a worthwhile thing, should be attached to doing guild missions with Path of Fire flavored rewards and stuff that last us 2 years until the next X-Pack where there's a fresh new batch. I really do. I think guild, it's, you know, to give you an example, right? I was reading an our Guild Wars thread, right? It was actually a terrible thread. It was really bad. But it was a thread where someone had said, the OP had a really great question, right? So people that don't know, Guild Wars 1 has not really been actively developed for a long time. So this guy said, hey guys, why don't we have a thread about simple things the devs can do that would go a really long way? And so this is always the best thing to do a thread about. Simple stuff. Stuff that a dev could poo out in a half hour in an afternoon, right? Or, you know, just one afternoon's work. And that afternoon's work has such a profound impact on the game in a positive way that it encourages all these extra playtime and this community investment and stuff, right? So these are the golden nuggets that you really want to look for and ask for if you want an old game like Guild Wars 1 to be developed again. You help the devs identify totally badass, awesome changes that give a lot. A small change that gives a lot, right? And so they did the thread, and it was a bad thread because no one had any good golden nuggets at all. It was like, oh, add a third profession and give us 15 more attribute points and all this like nonsense, basically. Anyway, those golden nuggets are important for Guild Wars 2 too. And I'll tell you what a golden nugget is for Guild Wars 2. A golden nugget is the guild system. It really is. At least I believe so, anyway. So, yeah, anyway, that was one thing that came from... There was a lot of really awesome stuff that came from that AMA. If anyone wants to ask for my opinions and things on it right here, right now, then we can go for that. Just type it in chat. But you'll get the full amount in an hour-long production once this stream's over. Simple, programmers everywhere crying. I mean, simple from, like, a design perspective. And I believe there are simple changes that... You know, but there are changes that give you more bang for your buck than other changes. Do you know what I mean? Like, a great example would be this. What if Guild Wars 1, guys, right? What if Guild Wars 1 added a whole new map in Vabby, okay? And in that map, it's got all this beautiful stuff. It looks just like Guild Wars 2, and it's got all... But there's, like, no content in it, right? That's a terrible change because it takes a shit ton of work, and it doesn't do anything. But a good change, they tend to be changes to game mechanics, right? And, like, tweaks to something. Or, like, a new reward that gets infused somewhere. And then people go mental trying to get it, and they get lots of hours of playtime. You know, like, this is why grind exists, really, in games. From, like, a designer, because they're golden nuggets. They're easy things to develop, and you just put a number on it that gives you a ton of playtime, you know? What do you think about the no more Scourge stacking? The only reason to drop Shades for DPS Scourge would be for bonus stats then? I don't really understand well enough Scourge, but I get what you're saying, that they're going to nerf the fact that they all work into... I don't know, I'm sure that they'll find a balance that works. Disable armor breaking as a gold nugget? I disagree. I understand why you'd like that, because it's like, what the fuck's the point in that mechanic now? But... I don't think that really does anything amazing for Guild Wars 2. There's actually a lot of stuff that you'll hear me asking for that I don't actually believe are gold nuggets. They're just things I'd like personally, you know? What's a good example? What's something I really want, but let's face it, isn't actually that important? Like, here's a good example of an anti-gold nugget. When people ask for more, like, voice packs for the races, oh, I want an older sounding Char. Yeah, go redo all the voice acting in the game again, so that I can pick this Char and do it on all the races and all the genders. You know, like, that's like an insane amount of effort. But does that actually help Guild Wars too much? It barely does at all. So that's like a great anti-gold nugget, you know. Season 1, that's a good example, maybe. Like, how good really is a Season 1 update? Well, we don't know for sure. I do actually think there's a lot of merit to that, though. Personally. Golden Nugget, Soulbound Masteries. I don't know whether that's a golden nugget. That's something I personally would like, but it's a lot of work to reshift the mastery system, and I think there are too many people entrenched in this weird idea that they have to be... Anyway, let's not go into that. Don't bait me into that. I don't want to go into that again. Playable Scarlet. Playable Scarlet. I like it. That's an odd one, but okay. All right, anyway, so let's go in game. I want to show you guys some fun stuff. And let's see what we've got. Also, I just want to say here at the start of the stream, I feel entirely too unappreciative of all the support and stuff I've had recently, like, I had some major friggin' donations the other weekend. I really did. And I don't know, I don't give you guys enough back. So I just wanted, just thanks to the people watching this, to the people who are around. I don't know what more I can do. Actually, I've got, oh, I already mentioned, didn't I? Did I mention the credit system on Patreon that I'm hoping to do? Hoping to get credits for people at the end of videos and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that's probably too far down the line for me to be talking about right now. But yeah, just cheers, guys. As you did, Aurora, do you know how to get those ridiculous amounts of blood shards? I'm not quite... Oh, you mean the blood rubies? Well, I just very consistently go to my home instance every day, and I, well, not every day, but when I'm playing quite actively, I try my best, and yeah, I already had a lot. PvP is also a great way to get those. A great way. What set is that? Okay, so this is an Apothecary Scourge, who I've been playing story with, in Zodiac armor, because it quickly came back to the gem store. And I actually quite like Zodiac stuff, but I never owned it. And I quite like when you mix and match it in. So I'm just wearing full stuff right now to get the skins out of my inventory. Make a squad. Yeah, well, hold on. First things first. Before we go and do Flameseeker Prophecies and Augury Rock and all that stuff, I want to try something. And what I want to try is something I've heard a lot about. This was another thing I thought was obscene on Reddit. So let's talk about this. When mounts were added, mounts have these amazing skills, right? These combat engage abilities. And apparently, they are not tuned to actually work based on player level. So if you're only level 5, as my character here, Saw Onaclaw, is, and I get on a raptor, my skill 1 on the raptor apparently doesn't scale. It looks like it scales. Looks awesome. Your Fashion Wars game is on fire. Guys, no, it's not. That's just default Zodiac armor. There's no special dyeing going on there. There's nothing. Oh, they changed it already. Did they fix it? Okay, they must have fixed it. All right, never mind. I'm too late then. I'm too late. Yeah, I wanted to go like one-shot Shadow Behemoth or something. All right, never mind that part of the stream then. Never mind. It scales in numbers, not in damage. What does that mean? In numbers, not in damage. Isn't damage a number? So what's the story there? They fixed the mount thing. It scales now, but it's still overpowered, and it does 80% of their HP. Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, stream over. There you go, guys. I'm just here to whinge a little bit. You would prefer if they would disable mounts in cities? That's curious. Cities, I don't care if mounts are in. I don't care if mounts are in cities. I do care if mounts are in a lot of the other places. I'm just a stick in the mud, though. Like, honestly, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I feel like such a bad person having problems with some of the things that I've got problems with. And I mean, I really do. And I'm not looking for pity or sympathy or something there. But it's just, it's very odd. I wonder if I've just completely lost touch sometimes. Because everywhere around me, everyone just loves this. And, you know, this I think is fun and fine and interesting. It's just sort of, I don't know. I couldn't believe it. Like, honestly, Mike Z has a comment in the AME. Like, a legitimate comment where he says, we tried very hard. No, I think he says it was very important to us to not invalidate old content. He actually said that in the AMA. And I don't know, I mean, that just sounds bonkers to me. How could they actually believe that and say that they cared about that when they treat the mastery system and the mount system the way that they do? It's a really weird thing to me to see. To say one thing and then like act in a completely different way. No dies on the mounts, what a casual. Well, what do you want from me? They're just random ults. I don't play them. All right, so we will squad up. So what we're going to do, guys, is some bounties. We're going to go to Path of Fire. We're going to do some bounties. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to go to the Ellen Riverlands. And we're going to learn more about the Flameseeker prophecies. Because I heard that if you go far enough with it, there's actually like a lost verse. The AMA revealed that the text you get from it was actually written like back in 2005 and slightly tweaked. But like, wow, what does that say about their internal wiki? That they actually had that written out all that time ago? That's really exciting. So yeah, you guys can play with me. All you have to do is log in game. This is an NA stream. Okay, we'll do an EU one tomorrow. But this is an NA stream. So all you have to do is just type in your chat box / squad join space, and then LYS. That's one of my character names, a very simple character name. LYS, and then you're done. So, yeah, you could check that out. And yeah. Sneak Angel says, do you think that if they turned mount abilities off in the core maps, that would help keep the mounts valid, but still give mounts and maybe that speed boost across the land? I mean, I think that that's one way of having done it. I don't know. Let's not go too deep into it. I feel too insecure talking about those topics. I will say, Boots and I made an 1.5 hour long production yesterday, and we were talking about mounts in World vs. World, and we were talking about the idea of, like, maybe you can mount, but you lose the ability unless you're in your own territory. Because, like, we were talking about the Springer and just being able to jump over walls to get into forts and stuff. So, what if you couldn't use the Springer charge jump unless you were in your own territory? At which point it's fine, because you're in your own territory and you own that objective, you know. So, there's some kind of fun ideas with that. But yeah, so let's go back through this gate. Now, on the previous stream last weekend, we did some of these, but we didn't do all of them. So we're going to go to another... I think we got all of the ones in the first outpost. Can someone just confirm that to me in chat? We did all of them there, right? And now we get to go to another outpost, I believe. Wow, Alpha Inver says, I'm at the biggest yearly LAN in my country, and I'm watching WP stream. Dude, I'm on it. That's very cool. I mean, a bit antisocial of you. Surely the point of a LAN... You know, I think nerds that go to LANs, you guys are heroes. You're like, you get out there, you know. And especially, and conventions too, I think, at the same time. Abrathil says, defending is easy as enough, as is, without mounts. Is that true, that in World vs. World, it shifted to the favor of the defenders for once? Because I always thought that defending was kind of... I don't know, is that an opinion? I don't know. Without playing a lot of World vs. World, I don't know whose opinion to believe. WP bashing someone for not interacting at a LAN. I'm not bashing him. I think it's cool. No Renegade? Yeah, guys, you don't realise how little POF I've played. I mean, I played quite a lot, just not on a spread of tons of characters. You know, I haven't instantly done them all. I've literally... The only reason I'm playing this guy right now is because of vaguely clean bags, I believe. Not even. I mean, look at this. These are not clean bags. I did get the gavel from the raids this week, though, which I'm pretty happy with. Let's clean this out before people start screaming at me. Wow, that didn't help very much, did it? Ooh, why might I have spicy meat chili in my inventory? And gifts of battle in my inventory? What could I possibly... Why might I have simple cat food in my inventory? That's very strange, isn't it? Ooh, hints as to amazing flagship series returning that everyone is constantly asking me more for more episodes on. Ergo, no one's ever asked me for an additional thing. Been playing the whole day now, just relaxing with the soothing sounds of WP's voice. That's lovely, man. WP doesn't play Guild Wars anymore. He's too grown up now. I will admit, I was playing a lot of Stellaris this week, but I'm kind of bored of it suddenly. It really dropped off really fast. And I installed Step Mania again today. I realized, here's how pathetic I am, right? Here's how, like, gross and desperate for validation and just, like, just pathetic I am, right? So, Matt is currently doing these really great VODs where he's showing off his Japan trip. And in the first episode, there's a moment where one of his friends gets on a dance machine. And he's playing the dance machine. And Matt is, like, mind blown. Matt's like, whoa, this is so good. You're amazing. And Matt's being, like, such a good friend and such a decent guy. And he's making his buddy feel really great playing on the dance mat. And he's, like, acting so mind blown. And this is how pathetic I, Wooden Potatoes, am as I'm watching that video. All I'm thinking is, I can play a lot better than that. He shouldn't be giving him such a good audience. I can play so much better than that. Like, how pathetic is that? It's like, come on, he's just doing a nice thing for his... just, God damn it. And I caught myself thinking that. I was like, God, Jesus, just get over it. So what? Yeah, the Japan VOD... I've only seen episode 1 so far, and I feel terrible because he's done 2 more since then. But they are very, very, very good. Have I gotten the Griffin yet? No, I'm still in the middle of acquisition. This is why I shouldn't really talk about... especially Griffin related stuff. The developer live stream on the Griffin was really good. It was really, really, really good. And I'm hoping that when I get the Griffin, it will shake my kind of insecurities about the whole thing. So yeah, we're supposed to be going to another bounty board. I'm not quite sure where the next bounty board might be, but perhaps it's over here. So let's go this way and check out the ogre crawl. Sorry for just leading everyone around and in circles and stuff. Can you guys confirm to me that you can hear the game and it's all good, yeah, by the way? If people could just do that, that'd be really nice. Maybe it's a bit too quiet. It is ducking, so when I speak, it's quieter, and when I stop speaking, it should be louder. So here, just, I'll shut up for 1 second in my life. Phil527 says, good job ragging on Matt's friend. Woohoo. It wasn't really that I was ragging on his friend. It was that I'm a pathetic, silly man that felt like he needed his... it's literally like a child. It's like a child when, like I remember this story, right? When I was a little kid, I went on a school trip to Legoland. And I was a brat at this age. I really was. And I can understand why none of the adult teachers really liked me very much. So anyway, at Legoland, I don't know whether you guys have been to this. I don't know if there are multiple Legolands in the UK or what, but Legoland in the UK, right? When I was a kid, this was years ago. This was when I was like 6 or 7, okay? But the mentality that I expressed there is the same that I have now in my mid-20s watching Matt's VOD. I went to Legoland, and they had like this water maze. So it was like a maze, and every now and then there'd be these jets of water that would spray up, and you had to wait, and then you had to run past them, and then you had to wait, and you had to run past them. Anyway, so I was on the trip, a little 7-year-old brat me, on this trip at Legoland, and this water sprayed up from underneath me right as I tried to go across, and it like shot me in the crotch, and it sprayed me wet all over, and I looked like I'd pissed myself. And it was all very funny and blah, 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 blah. Maybe I was humiliated as a kid. I don't really remember the actual event very well. Anyway, so like a week later, after the Legoland trip was over, we had a big school assembly where, you know, everyone has to sit in the big hall and you have to sing your fucking prayers and stuff. And obviously it was just after the trip, so the head teacher stood in front of the whole school and told some stories about what happened at Legoland. And at one point, as she's telling these stories, she asked this little girl, I don't remember the girl's name, she wasn't in my class or anything, but she asked this goody two-shoes little girl to stand up. And everyone stands up and looks at her. And the head mistress said, so what happened to you, little girl? And the girl told this story about how the girl was in the water maze and she got sprayed by the water as she stood over. But as a little girl, she was wearing a skirt. And so it like went right up her skirt and she got a big blast of water, which was the exact same event that happened to me. But I remember sitting there in that assembly, seething with jealousy and disgust that everyone had applauded this, because in the assembly she told the story and everyone applauded and said, woo, there you go. To little Sarah or whatever her name was. I remember as a 7-year-old sitting there jealous and insecure and upset that I hadn't got the attention I deserved because that same thing happened to me and why weren't they talking about it with me? I remember being that so clearly. And this thing about the DDR machine, it's not really about Matt's mate. It's about me being this pathetic person desperate for validation, wanting someone to know that I don't know, I guess even me telling this story in the stream looks horrendously suspect. It's like even here I'm looking for that validation. But yeah, so anyway, there you go, Legoland. Don't go to Legoland, people, it's terrible. They have these water mazes, and people won't give you the credit you deserve. Kellada32, thank you very much for the sub. Alright, let's play the game, I know people are bored. Alright, so the first one is the Crackling Brand Spark. So I guess we're going to the brand. Let's do it, people, we got 50. Let's all applaud WP for pissing himself. Yeah, and that's the ironic thing. I was probably really humiliated by it at first. So why was I then looking for everybody to know about it? Just because someone else had got the attention. That's all it is. Because someone else had gotten it. Now you have to do a DDR stream to prove yourself. Well, yeah, I was thinking about that story today. And, well, not that story. I was thinking about my reaction, or remembering my reaction or whatever, to the VOD today as I was installing Stepmania, which is probably why it was on my mind here as I talk about it with you guys now. I mean, to be honest as well, I'm not at my prime, right? I haven't played it for maybe a year now. So I'm probably a lot shitter than I think I am anyway. Everybody applaud WP for telling the story. Thank you. Oh, see, this is why I'm a streamer. This is it. This is why it's happening. Christ. Yeah, the excuses, I know. I'm just terrible. Alright, so we want to go, like, quite high up. I guess I went the wrong way. If we'd just gone the other direction, we would have been fine. Did this happen yesterday? Did what happen yesterday? Devar Lightning says, I can't get into the same map. RIP. Yeah, I'm sorry, Devar Lightning. We had major problems with that last time we did Bounties as well. First world problems, I guess, of, you know, having too many people who want to come and do them. I do apologize. The vast majority of the squad is in, though. What is with this class distribution? There's a lot of... What is this? Scourge? Weaver? Scourge? I think that's Scourge, isn't it? Jeez. WP, what is that epic commander sign? Is it new or is it potato exclusive? No, the devs never deigned to give me my due, and they never gave me a special Wooden Potatoes reference for Path of Fire. How dare they? Do they not appreciate the Wooden Potatoes touch as they once upon a time did? So I did not get my potato commander tag. This is the Catmander tag, which I got again. So yeah, I did a cats video with Boots, and so apparently I've still got the pink Catmander. Obviously the best. Hey WP, is there a lore reason why Abaddon has a weird alien tentacle face? You recently mentioned a video that Dwayne might be a harpy, so does that mean Abaddon could be a different race to the other gods too? Potentially, yeah. I mean, I've always liked that idea that they give us more details about that. And I think one of the things that I think is quite miserable about Path of Fire is their fear. It strikes me as fear anyway. For them to properly embellish upon the god stories and stuff, it's like they just want them out, you know? And yeah, like I would have liked more specific details about where, you know, the races that the gods may have belonged to and stuff. The interesting thing about Abaddon, though, with the tentacle thing, that really is the important thing that I should mention in this discussion, is he never always looked like that. If you go to the Guild Wars 1 wiki, you can see this quite easily when you look at the Abaddon page. But so, in Gandhara, the Moon Fortress, which was Corner's capital, and Varashosa, who was following Abaddon, you know, cared a lot about this, there were murals of the gods, and Abaddon's mural there has him just looking like a dude, pretty much, I think. Or does he maybe still have the tentacles? I don't remember. But he looks really quite normal. He looks very different to what we eventually come to know him as. And so a lot of what he looks like in Guild Wars 1... that design, that like twisted, warped, messed up design, that's actually just a result of his torture and his imprisonment for all those years. And once upon a time, he seems to have been a lot more humanoid looking, and he and so like as well, at the place where we finally kill Varesh. And the entrance to the Realm of Torment opens, where she was finalizing her ritual. You can actually see floating in the area armor pieces, Abaddon's armor pieces, and they're like greaves and gauntlets and things that very much would suit just a regular humanoid shape. So we're gonna hunt down Balthazar's Lost. This is pretty interesting. I'm still aware that last week people were saying there was good lore on these, so I'm trying to keep an eye out for it. So yeah, like what what Abaddon truly was is quite hard to know for sure. But I like the idea he's a different race. Do you think it would be nice if Guild Wars 2 went into a demons versus angels story? Isn't Demos a demon? I think it'd be awesome. Well, yeah, this idea of demons for Guild Wars is really just they're beings from the mists that tend to become very hateful. And like... I don't know, I think that demons are an interesting... One of my favourite, like, villains they've done in terms of, like, visual design, and let's face it, there's not much more than his visual design to him, is Kanaxai. So, yeah, I like that idea. Demos himself is also really badass and interesting, but the devs haven't been content to declare whether he is real or not. So, he could just be a figment of Saul's imagination, in which case... he might, you know, we might not be able to revisit him or whatever. I don't know. I'd like that. The angels versus demons, I'm not sure I want to see because I think I've seen that a bit too much, and I think, I don't know. I'm not sure what that territory offers the franchise that we can't get elsewhere. I'm desperate not to use the word cliche right now. I feel like cliches. I think if you ever find yourself critiquing something and just declaring it bad because it's a cliche, you've failed to understand what's genuinely bad. I think it's quite a what's the word? It's a non-criticism. It's a That's a shit criticism. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. We just did a giant circle. Is everybody proud of me? Is everybody proud of this commanding? I think he's dead anyway now. No, he's not dead. We just come up here. Oh, we did make it. Cliche is cliche. It does sound like all the devs are being pretty well utilized right now in quite a strict release schedule. It was very interesting to note on small projects like potentially moving the town clothes to outfit. Seems like they don't have room for it. Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting thing to me. So if people don't know, in the AMA, someone said, hey, can you change town clothes now to not be tonics? Like, what the hell? Oh, he's down here. Oh. Oh, people are trying to kill it. Oh, look at that amazing engage with the Springer. Sorry to everybody who followed me. Crap, I just ran past him. That was curious to me as well, though, because, like, to me, that's a gem store team update thing, or like a monetization team, or whatever they have going on with that. Because that's clearly, like, I loved the angle that the OP had posted there. So somebody basically said, why not give people the town clothes as an outfit for free? And then people are, like, interacting with that system. It's like their first hit. And then that makes them think, oh, yeah, I want to get more. And then they go to the gem store. You know, it's a very well-documented thing that if you give someone something for free on the gem store or whatever your microtransaction front is, they're much more likely to return later. And I think that that's a good point for that, too. So I feel like, you know, Mike O'Brien suggested that it would be a compromise between making awesome new content or doing that. And I don't know whether that's true. I think the compromise could be, instead, releasing a new outfit or doing that. And I think, I don't know. I think doing that might have been a good idea. But anyway, the thing that really struck me about all of that was, again, it's a really exciting thing to me to look into, just in terms of, like, gamer psychology and products like this that are developed for a really long time. Because in Mo's response, he said, it's a big game. We could endlessly iterate on that old stuff. And he's so right, you know. That comment really spoke to me. He's so correct about that. They can endlessly iterate if they want. Chieftain Krella. Did we already fight Chieftain Krella? I'm not sure, honestly. Let's just go. So, WP, when are you giving me something from the gem store for free? When you do something for me for free. How about you? What do I want? Write me a 5-chapter long short story. What would that be? Like is a novella like a small story? Is it like novel? Anyway, write me a 5-chapter long story based around the events of the Scarab Plague, and I'll get you something for free from the gem store. We'll spend some time reading it out, and we'll judge it as a community. Does that sound good? All right, cool. God damn, that combat music. That was beautiful. You're too demanding, WP. Well, there you go. It's not really free either at that point, is it? If you've had to work for it, but shh, it's fine. It's like that whole day, so that discussion about, oh, it's not a giveaway, it's a competition. Honestly, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I want to do with bounties, but it will be some time before we see that manifest. Shit. Oh, I should be on the water, Ellie. Look at all this amazing hillsies that we could be doing right now. This guy hits like a truck. This is cool. I use my skill 2 there, not for the break bar, but just to apply a bit more fresh torment. Where can you find my preset for shaders? You can't, because the web page for hosting this stuff isn't done yet, and I want to reveal it to people when that's done. And also because I actually don't use just regular reshade stuff. I also use Clarity 2, which you download elsewhere. And P1 HDR is also one of Grenber's things. So I'm using a mix of, like, different effects. So to get mine is not as simple as just having a preset. You also have to download some other stuff. And I'm not saying you can't emulate my look. Most of what my look is, anyway, is just a very specific contrast setup. But the clarity 2 is quite important, actually. You'll write me a 5-chapter Guild Wars 2 fanfic? I mean, yeah, go for it. I think that the community could do with more stuff like that. I really do. I like seeing stuff like that. Did your character always flip out when you use Embrace the Darkness, or was that added down the line? Are you talking about the dialogue, the noise? I think that was always like that, and it's always been something I think that the devs should have changed, tweaked the audio balance just a wee bit. Man, I love this road towards Ebonhawk. I really do. I think it's so pretty. It's so exciting. Anyone knows why the lore books are disabled, the POF ones? Great question, Rain Pumpkin, because yesterday's video was on Lissa. I'll be honest with you guys, before making that Lissa video, I was actually sitting around for about 20 minutes to half an hour, not knowing what the hell I wanted to do a video on. And it really panicked me a bit because, you know, that a whole expansion's just released. There's tons of stuff going on. And suddenly, I came to a standstill. Out of nowhere, I was just done. I was just like, wow, I don't know what to do a video on. And it really scared me. So for about 20 minutes, I was like, no, this can't be right. I can't be out of inspiration. This is so bad for my productivity. I need to know what I want to make a video on. Come on, they've just given a whole expansion. This is the time to have things to talk about. What do I want to talk about? And so I had a bit of a panic moment for about 20 to 30 minutes. I was like, I have to do a video today. This is not about laziness. This is not about diligence. This is not about any of that. This is literally just, I need something I'm confident making a video about that I feel like I have some interesting insights on. And eventually I came to the lore books. And I was like, why don't I just finish off getting all the lore books? And I'll do a video reading those out for people. That'll be a cool video. And I was like, yeah, awesome. Crisis resolved. Jesus Christ. The chain lock there with the crazy damage. I was like, crisis averted. Went in-game, collected all the stuff for the Oasis one. And, yeah, you can't even read them. It says, you double-click it. It says it's disabled. I was like, what? So, and then I went back to the drawing board and I was like, oh no, this is bad again and bad. And then I was like, no, let's talk about Lissa. This is a good idea for a video. So yeah, they're disabled. I don't know why. I guess people were abusing them. My guess is... Actually, I don't know, because all it does is print a dialogue window, right? So I don't know. I don't know why that's so different to any of the other books that they had. Unless it did it in like a scout form or something. I'm not sure. You need a lore mastery for it? No, there is no lore mastery. That's another thing, actually, I want to do a video on. Quarteria masteries. I like designing things. I don't know how well they work as videos, but I like designing things. You guys have got no idea. I actually have... I could go look. I think I've got 3 or 4 different Google Docs, like big Google Docs, filled with like basically design documents of my own, like sigil rebalance I've got one of, I've got a room balance one, I've got a few. And I kind of want to do one as well on like what new Quarteria masteries they could do, or what POF masteries they could have added if they weren't mount based, because I do think that's another thing that Path of Fire could have added. But I don't know how receptive people are to that, because I'm not a designer. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't know whether those are actually... I don't know whether I have anything substantial to offer. And the other thing as well is I think the audience is a little bit... and I don't mean this to be rude, but a bit knee-jerky at the prospect of saying anything that's not 100% lovey-dovey about the expansion right now. I think people are very reactionary to that if they hear me suggesting that it wasn't in some way perfect. And so that puts me off a little bit as well, talking about that stuff. So what's this here? The Champion Sand Snare. Okay, let's keep going. By the way, I know we could waypoint back each time. I'm enjoying walking, though. I'm enjoying walking. We get to see more of these beautiful environments. Do a video showing off the new guild hall? Yes, I did think about that as well in my crisis the other day, but... What is there really to show off? I mean, we did the stream. What else is there to say? Oh, the open world Zerg stuff's interesting. It was harder than the Heart of Thorns one. They get boons. Oh, that was an exciting thing on the AMA. Who saw the Fractals devs saying that they're going to add more boon play without relying on instabilities? Fucking legends. Oh, there we go. This video is going to get demonetized now because I just swore. But how good is that? That's what I like to hear, baby. That's great. The other really good thing, who saw this? There was like 1 upvote when I saw it. 1,500 comments in. I found somebody talking about high DPI supports, 4K support, better methods of ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing. You guys all know, if you watch a lot of my streams, you'll know I was doing some NVIDIA Profile Inspector adventures. And Arena John dropped a comment saying that they were looking into that and soon TM. That's pretty exciting to me. That could mean the videos start looking better. I could start running DSR and stuff. Oh. I'm well excited. Well, good. I'm a bit sad at the bounties. I'm a bit sad that they I don't know though. Is it Path of Fire's fault that Guild Wars 2's Zerg content is this? Or is it just Guild Wars 2's fault? It's probably just Guild Wars 2 that we should be talking about, right? Let's go, keep going. I don't envy the poor dev that has to look at UI updates. I was really surprised someone would do it. Yeah, I wonder, like, because it's always struck me as one of the more spaghetti codey type things, you know? I don't know. We'll see what they do. Another thing I want as well that the community is in the power of doing, people like Grenber can develop tools that allow us as the community to toggle things on and off. ICM allowed us to do that, but it was never the main purpose of it, really. So, but, you know, replaying the Path of Fire story where they do the step with the minimap disabled just makes me want to disable minimaps so badly. Come on. Please let us disable the minimap. Please. I will roll it into my Merciless challenge as like an Iron Man way of playing Guild Wars 2. Come on. I love that feeling of being lost. I love it. Come on. Let's satisfy those true RPG nerds. Oh, look. Whisper Insani is a Forgotten that is hanging around Glint's lair. Woo! This is cool. And is a bounty, so we'll go do that. Have you looked into the Renegade benchmarks? No. Do you know what? I really don't care that much about benchmarks at the moment. I just don't, because I know that, like... I don't know. I don't know why I don't care much. A lot of my friends care a lot about benchmarks, and they're, like, super into it. Do you know what I would really love the Guild Wars community to have? I would love us to be in a world... I was thinking about this the other day from, like, QT's perspective. Because QT do a great service to the community by doing what they do and hosting such a great website and putting the man hours in and stuff. Like, genuinely doing benchmark research is so mind-numbingly boring and just... Ugh. So the people that enjoy that and share their findings with the community are great. But what I would love is if the Guild Wars community had, like... Because they're almost like a newspaper to me. It's almost like, you know, you're checking the stocks. Do you know what I mean? It's like that extra bit of news that you're looking for that exists on the side of the game. I would love, like, another newspaper. I'd love another guild that provide benches, but their metrics are different. Their perspective on what realistic boons are different. Their, you know, and they can only be, they can be slight tweaks, but, you know, their impression of what a meta is could be different. And, you know, you get to sort of... And I think that would open people up a lot more to realize that we don't live in this binary world where whatever QT says is the be-all and end-all, absolute everything. Like, the amount of people writing these stupid, snobby, memey jokes that, oh, Scourge is really high DPS now. Well, I can't believe it. Can't wait for the devs to nerf it. The amount of people who pin, like, everything they understand about Guild Wars based on raid benchmarks is very odd. Like, I saw such, like, declarative, maybe? Is that the word I'm looking for? Like, such an absolute statement from someone saying, wow, power is absolutely useless in Guild Wars 2. All power is useless in Guild Wars 2. Is it really? Is it? And it's like weird to see comments like that, you know. So I'd like, you know, like another group that do something. And I think we've got the community to sustain it. You know, it just depends on a few things. But that would be nice, you know. And again, none of that is to say that QT are bad or any of that, you know, or that I don't appreciate what QT do. This guy's legendary. This is nice. Because I certainly do, and I think, you know, we're incredibly fortunate to even have one group. You know, I don't mean to dismiss any work that anyone's done, because I do appreciate it's a lot of work. Problem is QT and similar guilds in the sense of playing a different game in raids. With high DPS, they can ignore almost all mechanics. Yeah, well, no, it's not because of high DPS always. But yeah, no, and that's another point. You know, we could have another group that specializes in, you know, not the top 5% or what top 1% or whatever, but actually specializes in. This is crazy. Look at this. I was just complaining that open world Zergs are what they are, but look, he's actually wiping. We have to do mechanics, guys. I actually think we have to CC this. So let's get some work on the CCs right here. My God, I need to drop my wall. I'm pumping stab on people because I'm getting CC'd so hard I can't CC him. Jesus. All right, don't forget your 5 is a CC also, guys. Wow, we need to spam some of those heals up. This is pretty exciting. Wow, I like this. Yeah, you know, well, what about a group that specializes in the top 20% or the top... And that's why some of these, like, raid logging tools that the community are releasing that actually show realistic, like, expectations and how different builds perform are really good, you know. Anyway. I don't even know if I can necessarily say that I'm dead a lot right now because I'm playing bad. Because, I mean, look, what did I do there? I stood up, I dodged, to instantly go down again. I think there's tiny little red circles that you want to avoid that are much more important than the big ones. All right, I'm taunting. Christ, look at all the barrier he's got. We're on a time limit of 6 minutes. This is really good. This is really good. I like this. I'm going to give everybody 50% damage reduction because I actually think that's important right now. Ah, I like this. Ah, his break bar's gone. Okay. All right, here we go again. CCs, guys. CCs. Damn, I should run something more CC heavy. Does the trait that lets me double stab strip make me do more break bar damage? It doesn't, right? That's something we've just always wanted. I guess I'll put my hammers up. So is this just like getting worse and worse and worse for us the longer we're leaving this? I should put like a staff on or something. Wow, I'm gonna actually have to start rezzing. Here you go, I'm pressing F. I'm doing my part, guys. Oh my god, oh my god. All right, I'm dropping another road. Oof. My god, what is this? This is crazy. Okay, so we got, I think we're about halfway through the timer and we've got him to 50% health. Which is good because we're gonna start proccing extra traits and stuff for low health targets and whatnot now. So I think we're on track to kill this boss by actually quite a long way. I'll keep doing my part though, putting stab out and things. If I can, come on, I'm not touching the. There we go. We got the wall. Let's taunt him. I'm gonna wait and pop my elite before swapping again. There we go. There's the elite. Heal, swap, res. Elite again. Use the 5. We've got to get this break bar down. There it is. All right, burn him. It's interesting how quickly his barrier drops off because we know that that's not damage we're doing. That's there's another taunt. Look at all these condis as well. This is really interesting. Looking at the way that the active effects are working and the way that they're stacked. It is a bit strange, isn't it? There's another one. Keep it going, guys. Ooh, oh, didn't quite get the heal. Yeah, we're well on point. This is good though. Jesus. Look at it. This is like more engaging than like some of the epic bosses in the game. So epic bosses are like Shadow Behemoth and anything with like a really specific and like is this more interesting and engaging? This is probably more difficult than oh, is it more difficult than Tech? I don't know. Yeah, it looks so dumb. IMO can't see shit. Yeah, I mean, I won't deny that this which one is it? Exploiter, Captor. This one traps players in difficult to escape snares. That's what these big glowing rings are. It's not actually this boss that's doing that. It's just one of the broader bounty things. In the AMA, the devs did talk about wanting to... This is nuts. This was designed to sort of be easily placeable in the future. So expect Living World Season 4 maps to have this as a mechanic. Do you think Living World Season 4 maps will have new adventures since they've standardized those into sort of just the very basic supply run thing? My god. I'm just going to stay back here in this one. No, not into that. Okay, good. 3%. God, what? I really want to build my Ellie. Yay! Desert Highlands Legendary Bounties. Does he have any dialogue? No. So wait, though, hold on. Was that forgotten name a name I could have recognized from the first game, perhaps? That would have been a bit of a shame if I'd missed that. Logan Gear Scourge equals meta. Yeah, Scourge. I've actually been playing Apothecary Scourge, but Seraph Scourge. Is that what you mean? You love the Lysavid, love anything to do with the gods? Dude, I'm really glad. You unlock great adventures with the Griffin Mastery, just wish that they were longer. Yeah, I have heard that too, and I'm looking forward to playing those. At the AMA, apparently the dev that did those wanted to add loads, and the game director had to step in and say no. Or sorry, the expansion lead had to step in and say no. Have I played the Serpent's Ire yet? The Serpent's Ire? I don't believe so. No. So was that everything from this board? We can now go to the final board and we can get on with the Flameseeker Prophecies. TailM says it's way easier to do with 10 to 15 people instead of a big Zerg. Yeah, that's just Guild Wars 2 though. Things scale worse and worse and worse. There's a cab in my driveway. That's really weird. Hold on, guys. What? All right, never mind. It's not important. They were just reversing. Cat or cab? No, I said cab. Cab. Taxi. All right. Next board then? Hold on. Guys, tell me. Are we at the right board? WP, did you manage to make SMAA or such work with Guild Wars 2? I can't. Yeah, what do you mean? Don't forget, depending on your resolution, the effect that you'll get from SMAA will be greater or less. It was a monk boss that was hard to kill if you didn't have good anti-healing. That's great. That's very cool. WB confirmed to live in a place with cats or cab. Ooh. Nobody's telling me. I think we're done. I think we're done. Well, I guess I can always just check. Hold on. Legendary bounties in the Desert Highlands. We got one. That's Whisper Isani. There's the Forged Tormentor and blah, blah, blah. What else have we got? Champion bounties? Yeah, this looks good, right? The next board should have 5. That seems good to me. So where is the next board? Is it in the Shiver Peaks? I would love it if it's in the Shiver Peaks. I want more to do there. I feel like there's not enough. Did you do the Zealot meta event yet in Vabby? No, there's a lot I haven't done in Vabby. Yeah, apparently Derelict Delve is where it is. This is great. Let's go. I tell you what, the big races like the Char and the Norn, these are the most ridiculous looking ones to ride around on Springers. Oh. All right, let's climb up like so. WP missed the legendary at the first board, and yeah, the next board is at the Dwarven place. Okay, so yeah, we'll go back and do the legendary at the first board as well. I guess we missed that from last week when we were playing. With Weaver being the DPS option, do you think devs should take a second look at support Tempest? Yes, but I think they already did, actually. What more are you looking for? I think that the support capabilities of Tempest have always undisputedly been ridiculously powerful. It is insanely strong. Anywhere that you find that there's a lot of pressure coming at you, running whether it's a soothing mist based one or an aura based one, it doesn't matter. It's ridiculously powerful. A lot of kind of new players think that it's bad because people choose druids instead, but people don't choose druids because it can heal better or support better. They choose druids because it buffs people's damage, which therefore allows you to get through content quicker, which therefore allows you to skip a lot of mechanics and not have to play them well. But it is the champion of support. It always has been. All that Tempest needed was its damage stuff reined in a bit so that Weaver could quite clearly be the thing in that space, which is what's happened. The main issue with Ellie, everything considered right now, I think, is that Weaver does great on benches and stuff, but realistically, I actually think it's quite lacking in a lot of ways. And particularly its main profession weapon needs some tuning, which they talked about on the AMA, which is nice to see, and we'll see it go forward. But again, balance discussion isn't too exciting to me right now, guys, because I know that there's going to be lots of changes, But yeah. Oh, it was great to see the AMA confirmed I'm not insane, and they were looking at adding barrier to other classes, core specializations, and Earth Shield was going to get it. It wasn't Earth Specialization, it was Earth Shield. I was so happy to see that I'm not a complete nutter. Do all your tunes have full ascended? I got 9, and it's taken me forever. It's with for light. What I do is I just collect lots of light sets. So any Mesmer, Necro, or Ellie thing I've mostly got. But I share a lot of my stuff. So yeah, Champion Ignis. Didn't we already kill Ignis? Well, we're gonna go left to right again, guys. So Havoc Rika first. What a beautiful area, by the way. Honestly. Do you know what? I would be if season 4 is gonna season 4. If season 4 is going to start, oh, we got a long walk. In just like 2 months, I genuinely don't think I'd mind that much if it didn't add a new map and it was just based on these, and we had more reason to come back here, and so many other places in the expansion. Like, so much of the deeper potential of these places is still untouched. Don't you guys agree? Or would you hate that? Do you think that we need a new map immediately? What do you guys think about it? What if they added new stuff, but they added like little instances that spiral out of these, like the Brisbane base that we saw in episode 6? What if they just did like lots of little places like that spiral off of the core POF things? Because I honestly think there's so many cool things we could come back here to experience and do. Someone says, but then how do they sell Living World Season 4? No, I mean only the first update. I don't mean the whole season. I mean just the first update. And what do you mean? What's that got to do with selling it? What do you mean? Someone says, make use of the Path of Fire maps, definitely. I mean, because they just feel so big and new and fresh to me. I want to see that they are absolutely, you know, every little drop of potential joy and meaning behind exploring them is squeezed out, you know? All right. Champion Havoc Rika, okay. Unstable magic abilities. It pulls and it poisons. Okay, those are some scary looking AoEs, so we're going to stay away from those. I bet they are going to go back to the Season 2 map reveal system. Maybe we'll have 3 new maps by the end of Season 4. So you think that because they're going to be really big maps and they'll have to do them in chunks? Interesting. I mean, I think that worked extremely well in Dry Top. Dry Top is... I don't know. I have to reassess it now that Path of Fire's out. But Dry Top is up there for one of my favorite experiences of a map. Now, I know not everybody likes the kind of more linear feeling thing that you get from Dry Top, but I love Dry Top. I think Dry Top's so good. And Silver Waste was interesting as well because it gave us all of the playable space quickly, but then they kept unfolding the meta. Like, the meta continued to grow and adapt. And yes, more chunks of the map added, but like, you know, that wasn't so much. So, you know, they did 2 interesting things there in Season 2. I don't know, like, it just keeps coming back to that fucking Griffin for me. It really does. It just keeps coming back to the Griffin. I just don't... Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it doesn't matter if people fly through it at Mach 5. Are you now that they saved the game by adding a dynamic weather system? Are you now that they saved the game by adding a dynamic weather system? I mean, obviously there's a typo there, but I can't even begin to... Like, what? What? I think it's cool that there is one there. I use it as an example pre-Path of Fire as kind of an arbitrary thing almost that it doesn't need, but we could get up in arms about. And then it ended up in the game anyway, so, I mean, it's nice. And I loved what they said on the AMA that... The rain... If you see the rain in the south of the Ellen Riverlands... It will also be raining in the north of the Desolation at the same time. I think that's beautiful. Am I happy? I don't think it saved the expansion. I don't think the expansion, any one thing needed to save the expansion. I mean, do we even declare Path of Fire as having that? Yeah, let me ask you. So Twitch chat, serious question. If you're teetering on the edge of enjoying Path of Fire, right? Can you comfortably declare any one thing as having saved it for you? Like, are there any of you out there right now who feel like, yeah, this expansion would have been crap without X, Y, Z, A, B, C? And if so, if you are in that position, what is the X, Y, Z, A, B, C? And try not to go too broad with it. I don't want to see some of you guys saying, oh, it would have been shit without mounts. Because, like, mounts are... you can't really talk about Path of Fire without mounts. If you don't know what it would have been without mounts because the game revolves around them so much, right? So try to avoid that. Don't go too broad, right? Oh, it would have been terrible without new maps to explore, right? Like, but you know, if you're teetering, if there's one system, what would you identify that was? What was the thing that saved it? Oh, just a ton of people saying mounts. Come on, guys. St. Preschool. Engage, brains. It would have been shit without a new raid, says Nike. Do you mean at release? Angsty teenage Bram? Oh, it would have been The fact they cut Bram away saved it, really. The entire expansion you're judging based on that one quality of the story. That's funny. Oh, okay, so Silkiers the Fierce, he looks like... Oh, no, he's not. He's not. He's still up above. But I thought he might have been in the place there. That would have been really exciting. Can we climb up there by going this way, maybe? Bounties are saving the replayability. Oh, I think that might be a good answer, actually. What about the music boxes? So, yeah, I never finished earlier. So, if people don't know, Path of Fire actually has, like... what is it? Any enemy can drop them. There's, like, these super ultra rare drops, these music boxes you can get. Are they instruments? Or are they, like, the Super Adventure Boombox? Which are they? But yeah, I get some like classic MMO loot vibes from that. Let me just tell you. Here we go. Silkiers the Fierce. Oh, he's a bunny. Oh, I've heard of this. Apparently this is awful, isn't it? You have to break the bar to stop it from moving. There were people really angry about this online. I don't know whether they were right to be angry, but apparently this is like the worst thing in the world, that you just charge around forever. Genuinely put a lot of CC on here, guys. It might be worth breaking combat just to remount, just to re-raptor. All right, here we go. Go, 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 go. DPS. More doubts. Can someone make the strong case that people will care about bounties in 6 months? Genuinely curious. I don't know. Let me throw that back at you. Did people ever genuinely care about Queensdale champ training or Frostgorge champ training? Did they? Or did they care about the loot that came from it? Because they had long shelf lives. They only ended when other loot elsewhere in the game bloated beyond them. And direct nerfs as well, if you remember. And I genuinely think of the way I view the bounty system is it's just champ training 2.0. It's a more formal... direct look at champ training, and in some minor ways it seems to have the capacity to be better than champ training, but that is exactly what it's there for. Was champ training a good thing in the game? I think probably, but did anyone truly love it? Does anyone really love this experience? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that if you've got maybe 20 hours in Guild Wars 2, you enjoy this because it's like, wow, look at all the players. Same as like World vs. World, the first massive Zerg battle you have in World vs. World is really exciting. Like, you enjoy the spectacle, but after that, who really loves this? I don't know. Do you think they'll ever add a way to get legendary armor through Path of Fire? I don't know. I think the last thing the devs said was that they actually weren't planning on adding more. Who knows what the next raiding stuff will be. Do you think we'll have more magnetite shards? Interestingly, on the official website, they expressly point out that both Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire masteries could be used in raids. So raids could be one of the very few cross expansion deals where you need both, and that's curious. It'd be ballsy for them to do. It'd be nice for us vets who spend all that money and whatever, right? I reckon they could get away with it too. Oh, I tried to teleport, but I was obstructed. Oh, I got my thing back. Yeah, baby. Oh, that actually felt pretty good, being out in front of everyone else. That was nice. Oh. All right, let's burst it. Oh, we don't have max energy. What is up with that? I feel like replayability comes from either challenge or loot. I feel like bounties lack these. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've never been particularly impressed with the open world stuff, but clearly there's a selection of people out there who do like it, right? Like this is a hollow, bitter, tiny shell of what the genuine good content PvE is in Guild Wars 2, in my opinion. But it's all we had for years, if you remember, really. Well, it's not all we had, but... Do you agree with the dev comment in the AMA where they talk about they don't purposely made it so Path of Fire maps don't have metas so they don't clash with Heart of Thorns maps? Actually, I never really read that part, so I'm a bit out of the loop. Can you give me a direct quote? I'll give you a better impression of that. That did not make it into the video I did. I have 2,300 trade contracts. What do I do with them? Well, I've always been kind of low because I've been trying to get every single mini, but that's just a personal weird thing that there's no point in me doing, but I did nonetheless. So Champion Ignis is next. So where's Ignis? Is he still out in the snowfields? Or is he low? Oh, I guess he is. I think he's at the big temple and the mega waterfall.
Team down to try and rescue them.
Let's go this way. For me, good group content, open world or not, should require some form of communication and coordination. Bounties don't really need either of those things, which is why I'm not too fond of them. And I mean, I agree too. Like my comments that the social aspects of this MMO are not strong enough at all. Kind of factor into what you just said there too. But a lot of people think that this is social, right? I mean, we've talked about this so many times in recent streams. I'm not going to do it again. But we will have more legendary insights. They confirmed it. Insights, yes, but what about magnetite shards? I enjoy bounties, especially in small groups. I love all the content here, but I hate the champ train type of mind-numbing content. That's why I like lots of mechanics and big metas. It has nothing to do with rewards for me. I mean, I do think the bounties are genuinely a step up from champ trains in that if you do low ban them, they're really quite engaging. And I like that you can't really comfortably solo them either. So you've got that extra sort of... like one of the problems with the Queensdale champ train in terms of like toxicity was people killing a boss out of sequence, but that really only came about because it was in a very low level map and they were very, you know, it was really easy to solo like the champion Okar or whatever out of sequence. But bounties kind of don't do that because they have a bottom end to them. They still don't have like a challenge at the top end with lots of players, but on low players they do. And so I think that's good. I think you can say, whether that counts for much I don't know, but it is a step up. I put my elite there to see if it would reduce the damage of that nuke, but the nuke didn't seem to do anything, so I'm not sure what was going on there. I also don't know why he's blocking. Insights are what you need for armor, so you can get it through POF. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. I don't think I was really disputing that, though, at any point. What I was saying is needing both POF and Heart of Thorns to do Wing 5, because maybe it has adrenal mushrooms and, you know, a ledge that you need a Springer to get up or something. The weird thing about all of that, though, is there is legitimately... think about this, guys. There is legitimately nothing in the Path of Fire masteries that cannot be circumvented with a Mesmer portal. Nothing. The only thing that might is a Sand Wolf teleporter that goes beyond portal range, and there's no way to like close that gap by doubling back on yourself or whatever. Heart of Thorns was very different because like a Mesmer portal doesn't allow someone to have an adrenal mushroom, right, or a speed mushroom or something. And then there's the question of like new raid specific masteries anyway, right? So like, don't forget, Living World Season 4 will probably give us a new mount with an associated mastery, but also Wing 5 will probably also give us a new mastery, but that probably won't be a mount. So what will that be? I mean, honestly, of all the mastery lines, within Heart of Thorns at least, I'd say the raid ones were pretty poo. And what this is actually trying to accomplish mechanically is so at odds with itself. I don't really understand. So it's not like I got high hopes for the Path of Fire equivalent anyway. But yeah, you know, that's something to think about too. What about Jackal Mastery 4? The sand portals, yeah, I mentioned there. Well, Jackal Mastery 4 is actually the sharing of aids, isn't it? I mean, the advantage with being quite minimalistic with the things that they advertise Path of Fire on is, come on, I was in the middle of an evade frame. I guess it was Condi that ticked me out. The advantage is they can kind of, they're not obligated to give legendary armor to POF only people. I don't know. A raid only mount to help against raid bosses, maybe, yeah. I mean, you know this idea of an elephant or a camel or a giant rhino thing, the thing that Shaman teased, the next mount, and the fact that it's a party-based mount, like a 5-man mount, or maybe even, what if it was actually like a 10-man mount, and it's the raid mount, yeah? Like, I've been assuming that it's, God, I'm playing Condi Rev so bad because I'm just looking at chat. I've been thinking of it as a Living World thing, but actually, if you were going to have a party-based mount, surely that works best in a raid scenario. And that excites me. It also worries me a bit because I think I'd really like the raid team to just focus on the purity of like the raiding experience and the mechanics of the encounters themselves, and not have to like muddy the waters with, you know, throwing new mounts and stuff into the mix. I still think that there's a lot more they can learn and build on what they understand is a fun raid encounter before we even start layering all that extra stuff on top. But yeah. What do you think about that? I mean, I'm really excited about like a spirit wall encounter where we're all on like a giant elephant running along. Yeah? And one person's controlling where it goes and everyone else is using their skills. Wouldn't that be fantastic? You love the idea of a Zaitan fight with an airship in Path of Fire style thing? You're talking about redoing the Zaitan fight but now incorporating mounts into it. I don't know whether that needs that. And you know I'm a big fan of the idea of returning to that.
Bring this one down.
A Dragon's Watch mount, Kanak and Ritlock shooting from the back. Well, look, they're not going to do that. They're not going to have an Aurene mount. They're not going to have stuff where it's like characters from the story are randomly now there's thousands of them and they're in the open world. And not just because it would be unimmersive to see thousands of them in the open world, but also it comes down to like, what if they want to kill Kanak at some point? But then everyone's got him in mount form. I mean, it's insane. Just remake Zaitan's fight in a fractal? No, I don't agree with that either. I've heard that many times before, but that's not what needs to happen. The reason it's bad for the game is because it's a bad ending to the game, and it's that needs to be fixed. It's not... To an extent, you know, a lot of us veterans, we want a better experience. Yeah, obviously, just because we want the better experience. But what's really important is that the story itself has that improvement, the story itself. But again, you know, then... it would be a justification for why you get a group mount in Season 4, not that they'd come with you into open world. Oh, I see. You still think we'll ride Aurene in the story? Yeah, I don't know whether I said this or not, but, you know, I knew that the Griffin was something you only got at the end of the story. And so I thought, knowing that we would have an instance at the end of the story where we ride around on Aurene. I thought that was going to be happening. And Aurene had the Griffin mechanics, yeah? So it was this super special thing. And then when you finish the story, that's why they then unlocked it as the Griffin. And you got to train the Griffin and you get that Aurene experience back. I genuinely thought that was going to happen. But it didn't in the end. So maybe in the future they'll do that. But they've missed the opportunity now. Because now what's going to happen is when we do get a story instance... Sorry, guys. I've taken us the total wrong way. Let's go around. We got a long walk, but it's my bad. Now people aren't... It's not going to blow their mind anymore because their mind was already blown when they first rode the Griffin around in the Amnoon Oasis, for example. Yeah, do you get what I mean? So it's a bit of a missed opportunity there, sadly. You know, there was another thing about the Griffin as well that really struck me from their live stream. What was it? As we started that Aurene discussion, I was very much... I wanted to talk about it. Something about the devs' excitement for something. Oh yeah, the devs were talking so much about, like, in their live stream talking about the Griffin, they were talking so much about how fun it was to hide something and see the community slowly react to it, and this kind of like fever that swept across the community as everyone like got more and more excited for it, and it became this like big special thing. And I felt a bit weird. I felt weird watching that live stream and seeing the developers talk about all of that stuff, because I never really had that experience. I would want to have had that. You know, I'm the kind of person who, before I was super into Guild Wars, like anyone who got really into like Halo in the early days and the Easter eggs that were in Halo, like the Scarab gun and the suggestions of the big Needler and all of those things, that stuff like really used to grip me, like truly, desperately on a deep primal level. I was really pumped by stuff like that, and I was extra into it. I mean, the Griffin is totally par for the course for that, but that kind of childlike or even teenage-like obsession with such cool secrets and things, I never, I don't know, it never rose in me with the Griffin, and I don't know why. I don't know what that is. Did you guys have that? Do you feel like, because it's worthy of that kind of a reaction, isn't it? I don't know. A lot of people won't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, you know, just like ultimate goodies, like crazy goods, mega well-hidden Easter eggs and things in games. Usually I ravenously lap that stuff up, and it's like, you know, it's one of the most exciting things video games can do for me. And ArenaNet tried their hand at it with the mount, with the Griffin mount, and it sort of didn't pay off. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. How the hell do we get up there? Like, genuinely. I'm going to miss this bounty altogether. What? It's so high. Like, we got to get all the way up there. And I don't remember how. I mean, I've done it multiple times in the past. We're back on the other area now. I love the hype surrounding the war in Kryta when people were trying to uncover the secrets. Yeah, those early days in war in Kryta were pretty good. It was also interesting on the stream seeing them talk about the Black Moa. Like, the devs hold it in this ridiculously high regard as, like, this amazing way to do an Easter egg hunt and stuff. And it was pretty good, but I wonder if they hold it slightly too high regard. The other thing was really funny, right? Like I'm not beating around any bushes here. There is obviously another mount coming, right? Obviously. It's so clear. If you go back and rewatch the Griffin stream, Roy, who's the mount team lead, quite early on, he's talking about the Griffin, and he says something like this. We always knew for the first mounts that we wanted one to be an aerial mount. That's what he says, right? We knew for the first mounts we wanted it to be an aerial one. And it's so clear that when he said that, he panicked a bit, and even the people around him might have panicked a bit, because that totally infers that there's going to be more mounts coming, and they're supposed to be tight-lipped about it. And it's so funny looking at their reactions as that happens. It's so amazing. Let's go this way, I guess. Are we higher now? I mean, we're sort of getting there-ish. I don't know where we're going. WP, turn around. LMAO, why he keep running past it? Why doesn't he read chat? Because I got like 3 different chats going on here. Okay, is that over here, is it? This looks like a way up. This is good. I think we got it. Less social media back in the Halo days? Maybe. Maybe there's that. Could be. You could be onto something. My biggest worry with mounts was that people would just get stick with one of them. I'm actually very happy I get to swap on a regular basis, and swapping them is really worth it. Definitely. Definitely. I know what you mean. Definitely. Alright, let's go down. Have they been holding DPS? That's so sweet of them if they have. They're going to get a whole zerg of people. Now we're way too high. We're going to get a whole zerg of people tagging it now, so. There we go. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. But yeah, if you guys want something entertaining, go back and watch their Griffin thing, and it's quite early in the stream. Funny to watch. In Ellen Riverlands, I've seen a play on a Griffin for the first time. I was amazed and surprised. I mean, you guys can see my first reaction to the Griffin. You can see it, and I was shocked and excited. It's on a stream. I think it was on a stream, and I'd never heard of it until that point. Someone was standing next to me, right? On the Griffin. Some people mentioned it in chat, and then some guy was stood next to me, and I didn't notice, and everyone was saying, oh my god, the Griffin's there. You can see how I reacted to that. It's just not quite the same as it was. I don't know. It's not. This isn't a criticism. It's just sort of. It's an observation about my own reaction to a thing. It's not that the Griffin was handled badly or whatever, but yeah. Let's go this way. Would you feel the same about the Griffin without the leaks? Now, that's a good thing to talk about as well. You know, I quite like the Griffin stream because they were very candid about quite a lot of different things. But they still will never talk about the leaks. It's like hard company line, never talk about the leaks. Have you noticed that, guys? Like, they absolutely, like... And I kind of got that feeling a while ago, too. You know, because if there was ever a stream where they, you know, they're there talking about the Griffin, talking about it being this big secret, talking about how they had to pretend there were only 4 mounts forever, and so on and so on and so on. And you know, there's this elephant in the room. There is. And it's not the fact that there's an elephant mount coming. Whoa! We don't know if it's an elephant, obviously. But there's an elephant in the room, and it's that a lot of us know about a Griffin. We were just expecting it to be season 4. Because of the leaks. Maybe this is a thing with me where I'm projecting too much, and like I'm actually like the 0.1%, and not many people actually knew about the leak. But I suspect that many did. I don't know. And it wouldn't even be... I'm tempted to go to chat and say, type a 1 if you knew about the Griffin from the leak, and type a 2 if you didn't. But even if then that returned a ton of 1s, who cares? It's my community kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not really it's not really a big deal. It doesn't prove anything. Sorry. Wow. Okay, so we got another bounty here. Oh, it's up there again. These ones, I'm gonna try really hard to get there quickly this time. Let's go this way. Oh, everyone is printing 1s and 2s. Most thought it was a scrapped concept. That's true. And even I was open to the idea that it could have been a scrapped concept. But even with that, even with believing, oh, this is a scrapped concept, it still undermines the impact of the reveal. Don't you agree? And I think that it does still, there is still something in that. And yeah, maybe the person who typed that in chat is right. Maybe they've identified the real reason why it never quite gripped me the same as other things. You know, because I was wondering something else, you know. I know that the devs wanted it to be a great big secret. How do you guys think it would have worked, though, if they instead, when Path of Fire came out, literally on the hour that it released, what if instead, at that moment, they threw out a tweet, a Facebook post, or whatever, and said, by the way, there's a ridiculous secret. But by the way, we lied to you. There are 5 mounts. Go find the last one. What do you think if they themselves galvanized the community in that way and encouraged the sort of... Do you think that... Because in a weird way, I think that if I'd seen that right as POF came out, I think I might have been a bit more gripped by it. I don't know. Or maybe then I just immediately would have thought, oh, well, that's obviously the Griffin. and not been so caught up in it. COE says that would have hyped a lot more. That would have sucked, says Deviant Sharp. Then people would be really disappointed it cost 250 gold. That's also a side of it as well. How much do you guys think that the secret was there to justify the high cost rather than the other way around? What's your opinions on that, guys? Because I think the fact it was a secret has benefited it, the acquisition process massively. I think it's so good and so important that it costs 250 gold. But they could. You're right. I don't think they could have gotten away with it if they'd been talking about that the whole time. And it is funny the amount of discussion that's come from that 250 gold. Again, I guess I'm not allowed to. It's a bit like the Infusion comment. I'm not allowed to talk, right? Because I'm rich wood and potatoes. Fuck, I don't even have the mount right now, and my current gold is 137. Now I've got stuff in my thing that I can sell anyway. So. But, you know, it's my opinion's invalid on this topic, right? So 250 gold definitely gives more of an elite mount secret fight. I mean, I have been interested in that too. People who really do look at it as a sign of prestige. Like, I saw someone was having fun in my YouTube comments yesterday, saying, "Oh, WP doesn't have the mount yet." No, what was it? There was a comment in the YouTube that said, I had believed that the mounts were only... What did they say? They said something like, oh, everyone who doesn't have the mount right now is a noob, but WP doesn't have one either. So he. Like, and it's not like that offends me or anything, but it just shows people are having fun, like, playing around. People genuinely feel special. They want to be... They want to feel like a cut above because they've got it. And that's kind of nice, you know. It's nice that people have got that opportunity. It won't last long, definitely, but for now, at least, it works. Oh, I think we just finished the achievement. Oh, no, that was another legendary one. Was it? No. That was... Complete champion bounties. Yes, no, we did do it. We did finish it, and that was the kind of expansion-wide one. Nice. But there are 2 more legendaries, aren't there? So let's go back and trigger the legendary if we can. And then we'll trigger the legendary at the start of the map and we've got those done. Then, how long has this stream been going? Fuck me, time goes too quick. I'm beginning to wonder if 2-hour streams aren't long enough. I don't know, I get so drained though. But this is the last thing I'm doing today anyway, so it doesn't matter if I'm drained. Yeah, we got 2 legendary bounties to do. We got 1 here and then we got another one afterwards. Yeah, the collection and the acquisition of the Griffin has been really fun, and I know it gets a lot better. I've been spoiled as to what happens with it. So, his billboard isn't here, so what, are they on very long cooldowns? What do we think about this, guys? I guess I will just cheeky waypoint to the Makali outpost. And if the legendary bounty is there, we'll do that one. Let's see. Yeah, okay, this legendary's here. So let's kill the Forged Tormentor, who I don't believe we've got yet. Let me just verify that. Crystal Desert, not Crystal Desert. Desert Highlands. Legendary bounties. Forged Tormentor. Here you go. So he's second on the list. So let's get the Forged Tormentor, guys. All right, he's at the first. And, oh, we fight him where the Vlast stuff happened. Okay. Three-hour streams incoming. No, I don't know. I don't know. Let me... I'm trying to not affect my schedule too much. Oh, here's another thing I haven't even talked about, but I've been getting into Arena again, which is nice. Taking my time with that. So let me make sure what I'm doing is stable before I start adding more and more, yeah. Because the last thing I want is to put too much on my plate and burn out, and then you guys suffer on all fronts. Which map is my favorite story map for looks and gameplay wise? I think that this is the map that gave me the best experience so far, just generally speaking. And it's hard to say that because I really loved all of them. But I think maybe this one. Oh, I remember. Didn't we fail this? People spawned him early, I think, at the end of last stream. Yeah, I remember, and we never got the kill. Why no Renegade? Just because I've not got it unlocked and I've not looked into it yet, and I don't want to rush all this stuff for the sake of the stream. Hello, Warden Adian. It's nice to see you, dude. It's really nice to see you. Good on you. Oh, by the way, so some other stuff. The Guild Hall and Spud and stuff, it's all going really well right now. We're going to buy another upgrade in a second. Apparently, we had 70 people coming for missions today. So if you guys, as much as I've talked about ArenaNet need to support more with guild missions, at least in our little community, in our neck of the woods, we've had a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people are around, and it's great. It's really cool. So Spud is going strong. Spud is pretty B in the D department right now. And I'm pretty proud of it. I shouldn't be proud because it's the Games Master's doing, not mine. But it's nice. It is very cool. So if you guys are excited about that, Discords, and so on. And it was just EU, and it was only people in the new guild, right? It was Spud 2. That's what's going on with Spud 2. Lots of activity. It's really nice. Lol, our guild is happy with 5 people for GMs. What do you mean? Are you being mean? 70 people want the rank. Yeah, that's true. Because we did the rank reset. That's working quite well as well. I don't know. I'm excited about some of the stuff we did. Made some good Patreon changes at the moment. And that keys a little bit into the guild too. Honestly, most were probably there because they wanted their Spud rank back. Well, that's fine, you know. And we'll do it again in a little while because we're doing these resets, you know. So... It's still good, so I don't really care why people are doing it, but that they are doing it, you know. And it helps us to identify who the people are that are really enjoying themselves. Hopefully people made some friends and they'll stick about. I don't know. Obviously, we as communities can only do so much. The rest has to come from the devs, giving good rewards and worthwhile incentive on that content. That's where the rest of it has to come from. And there's no other way around it. Oh no, the ranks do not reset every week. No, no one would want to be in a guild like that. We're not going to do that. And if the GMs ever asked for that, we'd probably have a serious conversation about why that's not a good idea before anything went forward. This kind of sounds like a battle scene from Star Wars. The music is pretty nice. It is pretty nice. Yay, there we go. So that's the legendary one. So we get 5 Elegy Mosaics. I'm still not entirely sure what I spend those on.
Sweet, sweet treasure.
Man. I like getting these collections. Did you see the Ask Me Anything thoughts on them reworking the rewards in POF to make meta events and bounties worthwhile? We've already talked a bit about this. It remains to be seen what the devs do. I guess we'll wait here and see when the legendary spawns. We'll just wait a few minutes. It remains to be seen what the devs do. But no matter what happens, I kind of like that Heart of Thorns, that 2.0 was all about making rewards easier to get. While the Path of Fire 2.0, if that's going to be a thing, which the AMA kind of suggests something like it might be a thing, Path of Fire 2.0 is actually kind of the reverse, in that it's adding things for people to work on, right? Heart of Thorns is about making things easier to... reducing the amount of time it takes to work on things. And Path of Fire is about increasing the amount of time you get working on things, yeah, if that makes sense. So I kind of find it funny. Funerary skins in the Tomb of the Kings? Yeah, when you finish that collection, right? Yeah, oh, that's what the mosaics are for. I see what you guys are saying, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing all of those. You guys know I've always prided myself on collections, you know, like, this doesn't just come accidentally, having every basic collection in the game. It doesn't just come... So I'm looking forward to... I'm so close to this. I could just buy it on the TP, but we'll get it. And then I got Raise the Banners again to do when I do the story for the 3rd time. And rare collections, there's suddenly a ton going on, but, you know, this will be a big thing to go for. All the new Elite Specialization ones as well. I'm looking forward to that. All of these. Yeah, it's nice. So, honestly, someone tell me, what's the cooldown on these legendaries? Because I do want to go to the Ellen Riverlands, and I don't want the stream to be ridiculously long. You can instance hop. It will sometimes be up when you spawn in a new map. It's 7 collections for the funerary skins. 1 is doing all the bounties for the weapons, and 1 is for each armor piece. Oh. What do you do, though, with the actual Elegy Mosaic item, though? Because the currency is different and the items can't be sold. Aren't they just double-clickable? Oh, no. I would assume these are supposed to be double-clickable for karma/experience. It's 1 to 2 hours. Is it? Oh, my gosh. Okay, that's quite a lot. Does anybody want to maybe go to a new map? And we'll see if... Send me a whisper in-game, guys, if you can find a map with that legendary up. It would be nice to be done with this. Oh, someone says, I believe that the legendary bounty at that location is disabled. Ah. That would make sense. They're just trash. The items are trash. Well, generally, Path of Fire has been pretty good at giving you alternate uses for your trash. This time it's not. Yeah, and I mean, we really don't deserve this viewership. I'm incredibly appreciative. You guys are legends. For whatever reason, you've clicked and you're here to say hello. It's nice to see you all. But it's sad to see, you know, us, like... I wish that the actual official streams, like, got this at least. You know what I mean? It's not disabled. It was fixed. It just takes super long to spawn. Ah, okay. It was re-enabled a couple of days ago.
Refreshing.
Yeah, hello, everybody. All right. So let's just ignore it then, I guess. We'll go to the next map. Screw it. If someone can find it, whisper me and we'll take everyone back. But for now, let's go to the next map, yeah? Let's go to the Ellen Riverlands, or the Elan Riverlands. I need to get used to saying that, Elan. Official streams are boring, though? No, they're really interesting. Sometimes they can be boring. I know that they can be sometimes, but they're usually quite interesting. There's some good insights there, man. Some good stuff going on. Well, yeah, the announcement of the expansion is different, right? But I mean, they're regular streams where they just get, you know, a handful of 100. What makes me shudder when I see that is, like, you know, they spend quite a lot of money, obviously, on the sets and, like, all the camera positions, and they mic everyone up with all this stuff, and, you know, they got a lot going on. They put effort into those. It's like, I don't know. Like, Guild Wars, if Guild Wars 2 had, like, a chat show, the community had a chat show podcast of the kind of quality that the official ones are at, it would be amazing. You just don't see those kind of production levels. Yeah, we're on NA today. Sorry to my EU friends. I know there's a lot of you out there, but we're on NA today. Okay, so, yeah, I just want to do one Augury Rock meta, and I want to collect more of the Flameseeker Prophecies in preparation for a stream on it upcoming. So we're going to do the meta, which is in a good position right now. Kaidena is traveling to the Unsullied Barrens in search of a forgotten energy. So I've talked about this before. It's an escort that then becomes a defense that then opens it up. And then afterwards, you get to collect lots of magic and there's a doppelganger. It's kind of a peculiar meta in the way that it works. It doesn't, like, all come to a point, but it generally just creates like a broad activity level consistently over the map. But yeah, so we'll play this, and I think it should be quite fun. And I'm really excited about getting more of the Flameseeker prophecies and reading them and getting to this lost verse and stuff. Nike says, if they want to attract big viewers to the official streams, they need to discuss game balance changes. Bam, instant 2K. Actually, I think you're right about that. Balance changes would bring a big audience of people that otherwise just do not give a crap. Definitely. There's a big enough chunk of Guild Wars community now that is in that space. You know, I really like seeing Ireneo and Carl leaving messages on that AMA. For people that don't know, there was a thing going on with Overwatch this week on their subreddit, where they're like the big wig at that Blizzard studio, team whatever, team 5 are they? I don't know what team they are. I don't know much about Blizzard, but their guy that's like in charge of Overwatch or whatever went on public record and said, yeah, there's no company policy stopping our developers from talking to you on Reddit, but they won't do it because they're scared of you. They're scared of you, Blizzard fans. They think you're salty and toxic and blah, blah. Well, it didn't quite go that far. But basically, they just straight up said, yeah, our devs would talk to you more, but, you know, like they get harassed hardcore if they come out of the woodwork. General speculations become promises, and they don't do it. There's no company policy that says they can't, and we'd like them to, obviously. It's good for PR. But, yeah, they don't, because they're scared of you. And so this prompted someone in the Overwatch community on their subreddit to say, oh, we all need to be so much nicer. We're all really toxic, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, because of that, then a member of the Guild Wars 2 subreddit saw that and said, I wonder if that happens to us too. And blah, blah, blah. And I don't actually believe that that Reddit thread on the Guild Wars 2 side, or even the one on the Overwatch side, it will actually make a difference. But, you know, it's an interesting thing to think about, like, the devs being scared to post. And I think that if any devs out there have cause to be scared to post, it's probably the balance devs. And probably why we don't see live streams where they talk about upcoming balance changes and stuff. Probably. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So anyway, my point is, it was really nice to see Ireneo leaving a lot of messages, and actually, you know, quite well-informed pieces of discussion as well. He had a post on there about Condi versus Power, and do you know what? It was not the full discussion, but it would be impossible to do that in a single paragraph of text. But it was an important part of the discussion that I think more people need to understand that he posted about, and you know, it was nice. It was a nice interaction to see that, and I liked seeing that them posting like that. So. I'm not quite sure what my whole riff here on this stream has been about, but it was nice to see them talking. You know, I've been playing a lot of Stellaris lately, as you guys know. You guys wouldn't believe, and it's easier for small studios with smaller communities to do this, but they've got this guy called Wiz, right? He's like their game director or whatever. This dude constantly posts on the subreddit, like, constantly. If you're a Stellaris fan, you get like weekly updates. They're like happy to speculate as to what they want to do. It's insane. And you know, their Reddit presence is like majorly on point. Someone was also asking in the Guild Wars 2 AMA, there was a very buried comment from Mike Z. So Mike Z is the game director that we've got as he's coming up. He's moving. He was the expansion team lead for Path of Fire. But there was a comment on the AMA. It didn't get many upvotes. It was very buried. It was like, you know, 1,100 comments into the stack, so not many people have noticed it. But basically, someone went to Mike Z and said, hey, here's my question. We don't really know you, and you're going to be our new game director. Why don't you talk about your philosophy for the future of the game and, like, how you might differ from the other game directors, and, you know, give us a sense of who you are, blah, blah, blah. Now, Mike's response to that was, you know, and I like Mike, and I think he's a good guy and so on, and I'm sure he's good at his job and blah, blah, blah. His response to that was pretty boring. There wasn't really anything that he added. It was just, oh, yeah, I'm going to carry on like the other game directors did. You know, there was nothing really prominent to pick at in it. So it never got many upvotes and stuff. But I think that's a great question. I think that's a really exciting thing to ask. And, you know, potentially we could go into this world where, like, it's not just an AMH release. It's like, you know, He's always down there in the dirt with people, you know, screaming vitriol at him, and he's braving it, John Smith style. I don't know. You can imagine there's all these potential. There's all these opportunities out there. Wiz and CK Nor are the Paradox versions of you, I think. Well, no, but Wiz is like a dev. What? I'm not a dev. I don't see how he's an equivalent of me. But yeah, you know, like, he constantly streams the game, you know, in his own time, I think it is as well. Imagine that. Imagine, guys, for a second, Mike Z having a Twitch stream where he just openly, for hours on end, plays Path of Fire and talks about, like, what he likes about it and what he might develop and what he might not, and so on and so on. Like, imagine that. That's the equivalent, right? And I really think it's a luxury afforded to small studios with small communities and more incisive products. More, incisive is not the right word. More directed products, more like single-minded products, right? And MMOs of vast, broad things that don't tend to have that one unifying vision behind them. But yeah, you know, game development in the world of, you know, so much social media and stuff, it's weird.
Thank you for your help. I would have been hard.
Yeah, so Nike says if a power build and a Condi build both do 33k DBS, we don't automatically prefer the power build, which was his point. There's another part of that discussion, Nike, as well, that I know you are of the same opinion of me, that I wish more people would appreciate. I see all the time online, so everybody listening, listen to this, right? I constantly see people saying, oh, fuck Guild Wars 2's raiding metas. I don't like Condi builds. I only like power builds, and it's all Condi now. Damn it, it's so lame. And, you know, Nike is of this opinion, and so am I. Isn't it kind of, when you look at a raiding scenario, it's sort of arbitrary at that point, whether you're power or Condi anyway, because it's all just rotations and sustained hitting things. Like, what is the actual difference at that point? It's the user interface. Are you seeing a single big number, or are you seeing lots of little ticking ones? And it's really not, you know, people, what strikes me as always funny with this is people get very, very sincere about their opinion on that. They're like, no, I hate Condi builds. It's really important to me that there's a power build. But when you really break it down, they're talking about a fairly arbitrary difference in user interface, mostly. And, you know, this doesn't encompass the entire discussion. But as well, I wish that that was something that people were a little bit more open to as well.
We'll have to start all over again.
How hard is Demo's hand kiting? It depends on the build you're playing, and how BD you want to go with the build. But I think the easiest experience I've had so far is on Rev, and so I do it on Rev each week. Rev's like super tanky for it. I'm sure there's lots of other ones though. Actually, I wish there was a bit more theorycraft, or I had the time to do more theorycraft on different flacking things. Yeah, so there's another thing of Condi gear is harder to get than Zerka gear. So I heard someone make the discussion that power builds should be the main builds because Condi gear is really hard to get. But to me, like, balance decisions should not be dictated by economic things. Good balance is good balance. And if there's a problem, you don't tackle it from the end of the balance. You tackle it from the end of the acquisition of the gear. If your problem is that Condi gear is harder to get than power gear by a long way, then that's the thing that needs to be fixed. The meta doesn't need to change to be shooting into a weird place, like a lopsided place, just to account for that, you know. I'll say it, I've said it before, I'll say it time and time again, ramp is what needs looking at, right? I think that there should be very clear delineation of some builds are ramp builds, some builds are not. And I believe that the majority of Condi builds should be ramping harder and longer than they are right now. And I believe that the majority of power builds should be more upfront based than they are right now. I also believe in spiky Condi builds, and I also believe in rampy power builds. But I believe that those should be the minority, not the majority. So a ramping power build, I think a very well-designed Minion Mancer should be a ramping power build. A Phantasmal power Mesmer as well should be a ramping power build. And is as well. I think it's one of the best power builds that they've done in the game at the moment. As for a spiky Condi build, oh, that's a good question. Guys, what would a good spiky Condi build be for Guild Wars 2? In some ways, I actually think that these guys that slam crazy upfront burning is a good description of that. But, and they're already in that place. But Do you think Rev should get a great sword for the next elite spec or another support elite spec? I think a lot of Revs will be looking for great swords, sure. Any hopes for the upcoming Halloween event? Any changes you want to happen to tie in with Path of Fire? Any old or new skins you want to see? Skins I don't care too much about. You guys know that about me. I'd like to see something to do with Joko and Mad King Thorn. Here's what I'd really like. You know how Joko we last saw? He was imprisoned in the mists. And now presumably he's not because Balthazar's gone. But how does he get back from the mists? Because he's in limbo. I like the idea that Halloween reveals to us that Joko goes to the Mad King. He goes to the Mad Realm. He travels through the mists from the Land of the Lost that he's in right now, or whatever it's called, the Domain of the Lost, sorry. He travels through the mists to the Mad King, who he knows on a personal level and has this beef and rivalry with. And he says, listen, Oswald, buddy, help me out here, bro. And Oswald's like, and you know, whatever happens there, I don't know what the interaction is, but then they come through, and Halloween has a change, and Halloween actually ties a bit into the main story here, where Joko is that's how Joko gets back to Tyria. He comes like hitching a ride with Oswald. I think that would be really great. What about the gargoyles? I don't know whether they're really doing anything with the gargoyles. I'm a bit sick of speculating about them, to be honest, after the way they were handled before.
I will finally be in the Ascension Chamber.
Yeah, and that would be good, wouldn't it? Don't you guys think? In the AMA, they suggested maybe something might be happening-ish with Halloween, but who knows? It could be something tiny and crap. All right, here we go. Into Augury Rock. Hello, WP. Can you give me some tips on how to increase FPS on Guild Wars? Love the stream, by the way. Thanks, man. It depends on the resolution you're playing compared to the hardware you've got. Like, I learned a lot about what settings hit FPS under what circumstances by when I was messing with dynamic super resolution. Like, I realized that the higher your resolution, the bigger the hit the post-processing is. But the weaker the CPU, the bigger the hit ultra shadows are. Generally speaking, reflections, if you turn off, has minimal difference to your game. Sometimes water actually looks better with reflections off, in my opinion. But for a big FPS bump, and shadows as well. Turning shadows off or to like low is nice. The difference between low, medium, and high is actually just sort of the range at which kind of an annoying looking visual artifact hits. But those two off for most systems, I think, is the most FPS gain you'll find. Beyond culling, obviously, as well, right? Culling should be the first thing you get rid of. Yeah, I like ultra shadows too, don't get me wrong, and I've turned them off there. I was on high there, but that's just because I changed my settings like literally last night. It's not that I actually prefer high over ultra. Yep. What Benji just said, high resolution equals more pixels, and post-processing more pixel calculations. And you can really feel it. Post-processing is like... And the other one is shaders as well. The higher the resolution you're playing at, if you bump your resolution to something like insane, like 8K or whatever, and you will feel the difference in in shaders as well. That's huge too. The higher resolution your game's at. For most like contemporary hardware though, the only ones you're going to care about are probably the CPU bound ones. You'd rather have a pretty slideshow than high-speed 1990s graphics. Really? That's funny. Do you think there will be a Halloween decoration on the Tomb of the Primeval King? Someone talked about there was stuff like that in Guild Wars 1. Yeah, it was there in Guild Wars 1. This has occurred to me. I don't think they'll do it, though. Mostly, I don't think they'll do it because it would have already been revealed on Tyria 3D and stuff with the way that they do festival things now. And besides, look at how much effort the current event team and stuff has put in to making sure that that all rolls out right like, seamlessly and stuff. And like then to go, oh, we need more decorations in this area. I don't know whether that's going to happen. What's my favourite part of the Path of Fire storyline? Probably the moment as the mist recedes, revealing that we're in the Library of Cormyr, or the moment that we die and they transition us into the mist without even giving us a loading screen. I think that was, on a technical level, something I was really impressed with, as well as on a story level. Have I settled on a Weaver build I like? Not really. I actually really enjoy playing with Conjures on Weaver, funnily enough, for open world purposes. I think it's really fun. I think that the new Lightning Hammers are really fun, actually. I love the 4 now. If you like run fresh air with Lightning Hammer, you double attune to air to give yourself the damage buff, right? Right as you use the 2 and then the 4 on the hammer. It's pretty fucking cool. It is nice. You can get up to like 30k with it in open world. What did they change about conjure weapons? A lot of them had changes. There's quickness now on and super speed on the hammer. The mechanics of the 4 on the hammer are totally different. The flame axe has like a different thing where you can spawn extra procs and things based on bouncing between the 2 and the other abilities, I think it is, or the 1 and the other abilities. They did have a thing with barrier on the earth shield, but that hasn't got in just yet. There's been a lot of stuff. Here we go. This is the exciting bit. God, I haven't played Guild Wars 1 in so long, and my account got hacked, but after Guild Wars 2 release, I couldn't get unbanned and junk. I can't even go revisit that stuff, lol. Dude, that sucks. That's a real shame. Oh, and this was another cool thing from the AMA. Did you guys catch that the devs said they went through and played Nightfall? How cool is that to think that if you were a Guild Wars 1 player at some point in the past 2 years, you had a chance of finding an entire party of Guild Wars 2 devs live on Guild Wars 1 playing through Nightfall? Can you imagine how fucking fantastic that would have been to have just bumped into them while they did that? Also, oh, there was another thing. So, I do videos where I sum up all of the AMAs, right, that they do. I did deliberately leave a question out, and I know a lot of people are going to ask me about it. I may as well just preempt this. There was a very flattering and very intimidating and very weird... there was a very cool question where someone said, hey, devs, do you watch Wood and Potatoes? And the response was, someone actually said, not only do they watch Wood and Potatoes, but when they joined the company to work on Path of Fire, they were encouraged by the devs specifically to watch my Nightfall series, my Nightfall Let's Play, which is, and I'm very split on this. I really want to talk about it because that's so humbling and lovely and amazing and really nice and sweet. And I think it's scary as well. And it's, you know, it's fantastic. And what can be more gratifying than hearing something like that, right? Like, how cool is that? The devs, while preparing to make an expansion on that region of the world, watched my presentation of that content. Like, that's... You can't actually get higher praise, I don't think, as a Let's Play. You literally can't. What is something better than that? Like, it's a beautiful, awesome thing, and it was lovely to hear. But I've actually left it out of my video. And I don't mind saying it to a stream, because not a large portion of my audience watch the streams anyway, so I feel like I can be more open with what I say. I kind of left it out of the video, though, because I'm a bit scared of comments like that, and sort of... Not just like looking like I'm bragging about comments like that, but there's been a really weird thing over the past, as I've started to collaborate a little bit closer with ArenaNet. I think it sort of breeds a bit of hate towards me that I really don't want to be there. Like, people believing I have a lot of power to influence the devs and manipulate the devs, and that, you know, it's so much worse when they disagree with me and all of this kind of stuff. And I feel like whenever I talk about a moment like that in my videos, like when the devs talk about me on a live stream or something, I feel like it's very fun and nice, and I want to shout from the rooftops and the mountains how cool it is, but I also feel like it kind of throws some flack on me long term, and I that's kind of dangerous. So I kind of want to start, as far as the videos are concerned, which is, you know, where lots of people will be watching, I think I kind of want to stop talking about it when that happens, which is sad. But do you guys think that I'm making the right decision there? I think I probably am. Anyway. So yeah, that was something cool. It was cool, and I'm bragging about it here. All right, the Flameseeker Prophecies. Holy shit, Mahio, 10 minutes ago you donated. I'm so sorry. In fact, I've not read out a single sub today. Dude, not a question for Path of Fire, but have you seen the Tomb Raider movie trailer and thoughts? I actually did, yeah. Wow, what a weird thing to talk about. It looks, I don't know. I think for a movie like that to work, you have to take some risks. And you might say, well, Wood and Potatoes, a movie on a video game in itself is a risk. So you have to go completely cookie cutter with it. But I don't think that's the answer. I think what we're going to get, unfortunately, is a shitty action movie. I don't know, and I mean, it's just a trailer, and You know, a lot of people were worried about the new Blade Runner movie, but are now absolutely giddy with wanking themselves off over it. So maybe the Tomb Raider movie will be the same. And I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan, as you know. So I hope it will do well. But from what I saw in the trailer, it looks like they have done everything they can to make it as standard and by the book as possible. To the point that I suspect only 13-year-olds new to action movies will find entertainment in it. I don't know. That's very snobby what I just said there. I hope it's good, but I don't have too much hope. Anyway, dude, £20? Thank you, man. Holy crap. I need the money for the Griffin mount. Yeah, now I can credit card farm with that. Yeah, the new Pacific Rim trailer looking like a cheap action movie too. But that's the thing. That prides itself on being a popcorn movie anyway, so maybe that's not a big problem. Thanks to everybody who subbed today. All right, we got to do this. Augury Rock is going to close soon. Okay, so verse 1. Now, this is not actually verse 1 because I've already got a ton of them. So hopefully it just keeps progressing for me. I think it should. So anyway, so you press F on a verse, and then you need to grab all of the forgotten lights. And once you've got all the lights, you can go back to it. One more remains. You can go back and you can read more, and it's very exciting. All forgotten lights retrieved. Return to the thing to... I hope this isn't... Here we go. So I'd already done 9. So... Oh, shit. But I'm missing these. Rip? How do I get those then? So I'm now on scroll 2. Look at how much there is. Look at all this lore. And then the lost verse. The lost verse! What does this say? Oh, I'm so excited about seeing all of these. This is going to be a video. Big time. This is going to be so good. Oh, these are on the upper floor, so I can still grab these, can I? Anyway, Flameseeker Prophecies, scroll 2, verse 1. Time will pass and wounds will heal, but sickness is festering beneath. Unseen powers seep into the faithful, spreading their influence like poison. Now, I will very openly admit, I don't know how to interpret every single one of these. Sometimes I'll catch something and I'll be like, oh, that sounds like they're talking about Ascalon, or that sounds like they're talking about the Guild Wars, or whatever. I don't know about all of them. Nothing there really. Unseen powers seep into the faithful, spreading their influence like poison. Are we talking about Ore here? Or are we talking about the dark magics and the crypts of Ore? Are we talking about the Orions being the faithful, and what happened to Vizier Kilbron, who features in the prophecies, maybe? I don't know. I mean, you don't expect anything tangible or good here. But it'll be fun to have our guesses early on. I mean, I'll only really be good at it, I think, once I've got the entire thing laid down and we can look at it chronologically. I wonder how deep this is. You guys think it's the White Mantle? So, just so that everybody knows, the broad idea of the Flameseeker Prophecies is it's telling the destruction of the Masat. And it's talking about the Flameseeker. I can't remember. Is the Flameseeker Vizier Kilbron, or is it the player character? I think it's Vizier Kilbron. I think he's the Flameseeker because he's seeking the Titans. And there's a lot of fun things to think about going into this, because there are ideas that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so maybe Glint wrote it to sort of manipulate things deliberately and, you know, cause things to pass that otherwise wouldn't have. And, you know, there's a lot to think about. Shit, I don't know where the next light is. I like how collecting lights is helping me with the heart here. This is nice. I'll take the free karma, sure. More Forgotten Priests. God, Augury Rock is cool, eh, guys? Are they marked on the map in anywhere? Someone says you have all. Oh, do I have them all already? Really? I don't remember picking up 4 for this verse. No, there's loads of verses. There's loads. Scroll to verse 2. The city of the sun will again be besieged, holding out hope against the barbaric and the vain. So the city of the sun will again be besieged. Are we talking about Rurik here? Or are we talking about Ascalon and the Char sieging? Are they the barbaric and the vain? So the sun would be Rurik, the son of Adalbern. It has known hardship, and it will know hardship again. It cannot be saved by found relics and sharp steel. The exile holds the key. Follow him. So what? Ascalon can't be... Ascalon has known hardship. Ascalon will know hardship again. Maybe talking about the faux fire even later. We're talking about the searing as hardship. It cannot be saved by found relics. Are we talking about Stormcaller? It can't be saved by sharp steel. So by force of arms, it can't be saved. The exile holds the key. Rurik was exiled. But what key did he hold? Sahothin is maybe a key? Follow him. But a key to what? Is that what we're going driving on there? Verse 3. Let's watch very closely. Now, if you watch closely, you can actually see where the magic gets spread out. So 1 Forgotten Light. 2 Forgotten Lights. This is a weird feeling doing this because you're under like a time pressure. There's 3 Forgotten Lights. Black Line chest key. Yeah, it must be that. The Flameseeker prophecies are talking about the BLTC. Well done. Well done. Doesn't BLTC make you guys think of a sandwich? Like, it really does for me. All right, there you go. There's 4. One Forgotten Light remains. What? Okay. Maybe it's back over here near the entrance. This is going to be really frustrating for people to watch on stream because they're going to see the one that I'm missing. And they're going to be screaming. Oh, dude, I never told you guys. You guys know I'm a fan of the game Little Big Adventure, right? The music you hear on all my end slates is from it. In that game, you can get a laser pistol, and it's like, I've always described that as my ultimate nostalgia kick game. And it is, you know, it brings me back to such a happy, innocent, simple time of my life. One of my first true video games that I fell in love with. Anyway, in that game, you can get this laser gun that goes pew, pew. And the sound of the new Deadeye Elite Specialization weapon is exactly the same as that. Oh, and it's so good. It is so good. It makes me so happy. I really want it. Oh, there, it's right there. I see it. 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 So anyway, I occasionally hear that. I think someone had it a second ago in the stream just here. All right, go. A journey will be cut short for one, and the sun will set, and a new sun will rise. Conflict at the flame door. He holds the key.
Refreshing.
A new sun will rise. I wish I could go back and read that again. I'm not getting anything in my inventory that records that, is it? Because here's another thing. I'm way off of this, probably. But here, do you guys want to know some really obscure lore? Let me check something. Twitch chat. Who knows what I'm about to talk about? What obscure lore might I be thinking of right now that is detailed in the Prophecies manuscripts? The manual that came with Guild Wars 1 Prophecies. What is it I'm about to talk about? Let's see if anybody knows. Talking about a new sun rising. What might it be, guys? Yeah, there you go. Reg. Good job, dude. Legend. Reg. The other brothers of Rurik. The manuscripts actually suggest that Rurik wasn't an only child. That there were other sons. Adalbern had more sons than Rurik. There were more. There's a line that suggests to that. Rurik's unknown brother. Good job, Ewendel. JJ Mars got it as well. Well done, guys. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's got anything to do with this. I doubt that it's got anything to do with anything and they'll ever actually touch on it. But that's what that made me think of there. All right, verse 3. So, let's go to verse 4 now. Well done, guys. I'm proud of you. That's good. Can I just ask as well, to those who answered that, did you first hear of that through me, or did you know that from some other area of lore discussion or having read the book yourself? Because I know I've talked about it a few times, but very rarely have I talked about it. So I wonder whether that's information that's sunk in that I've managed to spread, or whether it's just sort of more common knowledge than I realised. These Forgotten Lights were really easy. I feel like Guild Wars 1 lore is the real lore, and if you like Guild Wars 2 and can get over the old game, feels that it's an amazing game. No, I think that there's a lot of great world building and lore in Guild Wars 2 that people just don't take for granted because it's always in our face. Like just the 5 races we play and stuff, you know. I think a lot of them were handled quite well and have got a lot to offer. From a misguided populace, songs, chants, and demands sound. These will be held as gospel by those who did not hear. Okay, this I think is talking about Kryta. It's talking about the White Mantle. It's talking about, you know, they're misguided. They believe something that they shouldn't. Oh, do you know what I just remembered? Listen, in Guild Wars 1, in the Maguma jungle, I think we do actually get to hear a part of the prophecies, don't we? Isn't there a quest in Guild Wars 1 in the Maguma jungle where we commune with like an Oakheart spirit or whatever, and he talks about like carrion birds and something else. And lions, I think. Carrion birds and lions. And it's supposed to be a part of the Flameseeker prophecies, isn't it? Or maybe that's just his own prophecy. I don't know. That would be cool if that is, though. And we're going to read that here at some point. These will be held as gospel by those who did not hear. I think that the point there is that there were actually very few White Mantle that saw Lazarus and Optimus and... who's the other one? Mercia. The actual Messiah. And most of them, they're preaching things they don't even know. Ewendell says it was a moment of divine revelation for me. I literally just guessed. Oh, wow, okay. To be frank, you talk about it quite often, says JJ Mars. Oh, okay. If you think I talk about that a lot, I don't know how repetitive you must imagine I am everywhere else. Guys, go check out the lottery. Do you want to win 3,369 ectos? There's a link. There you go. The last revelations of the Robed One. His followers carry on, unaware of his warnings. So, the Robed One being Saul... his last revelation is that, oh shit, the Messiah are bastards. But his followers carry on, unaware that... But they weren't unaware. The gross thing was, Hablion fucking saw and knew. And just lied about it because he was scared. So I don't know, maybe I'm interpreting that wrong. Anyway, sorry, swearing. Ugh. Whatever will I do without the ad revenue on Wooden Potatoes 2? I guess I'll go $30 less this week, guys. This month, sorry. Month. Jesus. Verse 5. Was that verse 5 we just did? Retrieve the 4 forgotten lights. Here we go. There we go, that's one. What was your reaction to the changed Gleam's name to Vlast? I thought it was a bit arbitrary and not something I care much about. It's not like I'm offended by it. I just didn't care very much about it. I very much like what Scott McGough said, though, in terms of why they did it and how much they cared about it. You know, like, that it sounded more percussive and it was closer to Glost. You know, like, I liked their reasoning behind it. I liked that they cared enough to want to change it. Though, in the end, I think that it was probably a bit unnecessary. But, you know, I think it came from a good place, so... the threat of war is spurred by unseen forces. Blood will spill with nefarious purpose. So, I think this is pretty transparent, actually. Continue reading. A clergy will be exalted and reviled by those who wish to speak with the gods. When they say the gods, though, do they mean the unseen gods or do they mean the 6? Or the 5, sorry, as it was at this time. It was part of the Blood and Smoke quest. Oh, Benji, you found the quote, did you? I see a great beast, a great cat, a lion. The lion hungers. He is devouring the forest, the entire forest, nay, the entire world. A host of gleaming angels. No, not angels, but birds. Carrion birds, bright and terrible as the sun, accompany this lion. All falls before his hunger until naught is left but bitter ashes. That is all I see. So, yeah, but is that from the Flameseeker prophecies, or is that's just the druid, right? Some people have suggested that's Elder Dragons, and retroactively they could write that, but to me that's an interpretation of the prophecies as well. Or, not the prophecies, but the events of the... You get what I mean. It makes sense. Gleam resented the people that brought him up. Once he got to be his own, he might have wanted to change it out of resentment. Yeah, like, don't misinterpret me. I think I don't think it... When I say it was a bit arbitrary or unnecessary, I don't mean, like, from a character position. I just mean, like, to have gone into that detail, for the product to have gone into that detail was probably a bit, you know, it probably wasn't as important as it was suggested to be. Or it wasn't really suggested to be that important. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't have any strong opinions is what I'm trying to say. I think it works, and it was cool. And it was cooler when I heard about why they did it in the AMA. Any more lights? Or are they high up now? Oh, there's one right there. There we go. All forgotten lights retrieved. A treasure will be discovered under sand and sea. A relic guarded by ore for uncounted centuries. That almost reads like a rap. So this must be talking about the Lost Scrolls. Oh, why did we just... Oh, we got kicked. No, but I didn't get to read further. Oh, what is this? Man, if that doesn't show how slow I'm going, I don't know what does. Because the first time I was doing that, I went way quicker. Crap, we got kicked. Will I do a video on that AMA? I have. I've already done one. It's just going to get uploaded as soon as I go offline here. All right, let's finish the meta then, guys. So charge around. If people don't know how this works, you see this enormous area? An area which I will point out is about the size of Queensdale. You know, people talk about this doesn't have any map-wide metas. It's funny because if this was just a regular map, this is a map, but this is a fucking enormous place, right? Look at this, yeah? This is like all of like Metrica province, right? I think, you know, you could turn it on its head. That's not totally unfair for me to say, is it? So, yeah, we got to charge around a region the size of Metrica province, grabbing magic. And again, this keys into what I was trying to talk about before, in that I actually think when we talk about these discussions, we actually mean farm potential behind metas and so on. But yeah, so we'll do that. I just had another donation. Joe Bum, thank you, man. Hey, WP, I can't wait for the video on this. You do great work for the community, man. Have a great day. Thank you very, very much. You know, I was going to ask you guys in the comments here something, because I feel a little out of touch. Can you guys tell me, if you're really into the Guild Wars 2 scene on YouTube and stuff, can you tell me other people on the scene, not that are as big as me, I don't care about viewership, I don't care about that, but are as active as me? Anyone, literally, and I would have heard of a lot of them, but I'm wondering if any names will come up here that I don't know about and I should look. Because what I think is important is not that there are people on the scene who get the kind of viewership I get, but that there are people on the scene who are as active as I am. I think that's the important thing. So just type everyone who's as active as I am. Or even more so. So I'm talking a daily video, yeah? Or if they're a pure streamer, like, you know, streams 6 days a week. I'm looking very closely. There are some names coming up that I know are not that active, so I don't know, and not even as jokes. There's a lot of jokes. People are putting a lot of jokes. Come on, guys. Okay, there's a couple of names there that I don't think I've watched or seen. Wow, we did that so fast. Holy shit. Jesus, we got the meta done really quickly there. Thanks for that, guys. I will scroll back and look here and see if I can find any new content creators there. Because I want a good idea of who's genuinely active on the scene. Some of you guys saying Doombox there. He actually has a question on the AMA. I don't know if you guys noticed. That's quite nice. And I mean, I'm not, I don't want to go too far down this discussion, but active to me is not like once a week. That's not like, that's not like full-time kind of like active, do you know what I mean? And there's no judgment there. I know how hard it is to be that active, especially when you've got to run a full-time job at the same time. That's what I was doing for the first 3 years, having to balance the both, and it's fucking difficult. God, why am I swearing so much? What was the question? Just really active Guild Wars 2 YouTubers. I don't care about size. They could get like 5 viewers for all I care. It doesn't matter. Just active people. People I want to keep my eye on and see if I can promote them in some way. Because, you know, that was going to be a big part of the competition too. That I favour anyone who's in that competition. I favour if they're like being an actual content creator beyond it as well. So yeah, since I've just reminded myself, don't forget, guys. That competition ends when Season 4 begins. And something you might want to think about is ArenaNet very abruptly announce expansion, Living World releases before flying into them. They do it very abrupt. So it's likely we'll get a raid release first. But there's going to come a point where if you're thinking, oh, I'll put mine in at the last minute, you might not have much... much time in advance, right? If you're waiting, because it could be that the devs are like, all right, yeah, 6 days, it's out. Yeah, and then you're going to be in a crunch. So if you do want to enter that competition, you want to win all the legendaries in the game, or all the auras, or all the black line contracts, or all the minis and the Halloween skins and all that stuff. If that's true, then good on you. But just remember that the floor might very suddenly fall away from you. So it's not, you know, don't sit there thinking, oh, I'll do it when they announce Season 4, because that's not going to give you enough time. Right now is the time. You've got all of Path of Fire to pull footage and stuff from. You've got, you know, a lot of understanding of the expansion yourself as you've played it a lot. And you may just now starting to be exhausting the content and looking for something else to do. Now is the time. Right now is the perfect opportunity to get in on that competition. It is not dead and over and done. And so I did want to throw that advice out there, because the number of submissions have slowed down a bit. Which I think is a shame, considering right now is such a premium moment, you know. I'm pretty proud of the Zerg there, guys. We did this meta very fast there, and we killed the Doppelganger way faster than I've seen others kill the Doppelganger. Vegetable weights. Even after endless revision by awakened tax collectors, local markets still use an antique but well-known system. What? What am I not understanding about this? What is that? Even after endless revision by awakened tax collectors, local markets still use an antique but well-known system. Is this like some system of currency that perhaps Middle Eastern or African cultures have used in the past? Vegetable weights? No, I know trash. I know it's a trash item, guys. I mean, what's it referencing? What's the idea? Is it like a historical form of currency?
One becomes two.
It's for measuring the weight. Oh, like a scale for measuring the weight of goods. Oh, okay. So tax collectors are trying to weigh produce in order to determine how much they can take or whatever. All right, well, there we go. It's not a WP stream without me looking like an ignorant, uneducated fool. And I think we've hit that moment. So you go, guys, that was a really fun stream. I enjoyed that a lot. You guys have been great listeners. Thanks for hearing my tragic story about going to Lego World. Thanks very much for acknowledging that I am a better DDR player than Matt's friend. And now everybody knows that, and you can all understand my true skill. Thank you for acknowledging that... what else did I do? I don't know. Anyway, it was a good stream. Thanks, guys. It's been really good. Remember, we do have the guild. We've had massive attendance. It's been lots of fun. We are still open. It's pretty close to being full, I will admit. So watch out for that. But even if you don't want to join the in-game branch, we have lots of cool discussion. We have a Discord where people type out real-time chats about the videos I do. We post screenshots with one another, and now that Path of Fire's out, it's really good looking. We got spoiler chat. We got all those kinds of things, competitions and whatnot. So I'll leave it there. I'm not going to host someone today. I know we've got a lot of viewers. Well, hold on. Let me see. Maybe I can host someone. Let's see if there's someone really good to host here. Did I host Doc last week? I think I did, didn't I? I did host Doc. I did already. Oh, do you know what? Sind is streaming. I've been hosting some bigger guys lately, and Sind is streaming right now. Do you know what? I'm going to host Sind. Because PvP is not truly dead. And I enjoy Sind. And I don't think I've ever hosted him. So if you guys want to watch some fun, new Path of Fire spec stuff, and I'm sure so many of you are instantly going to tune out at the prospect of this, check out his stream. I'm a pretty big fan of him. And we'll see how it goes. I will catch you guys next time.